Australija, to je cijeli jedan kontinent. Evo ovdje smo na južnoj točki. Tamo daleko, tamo je moja omiljena Južna Amerika. Dolje na jugu, ništa do južnoga pola. A tamo na zapad, jer mi smo njima zapad, je Hrvatska. Kako kod nas u Europi još nije počelo ni proljeće, snimke s plaže zgodan su kontrast. Statistika ne poznaje ni jednog Australca druge generacije koji ne zna plivati. Ali po oceanskim valovima plivanje nije uvijek bezopasno. Naš prvi sugovornik bit će čuvar plaže u mjestu koje se zove Surfing Paradise, raj za surfere. You're guarding the beach. Is it a very prestigious profession that everybody envies you?
It's a very well-respected profession, and it takes a long time to get this profession. It's something you train for a lot of years, and something I enjoy doing.
Does it happen like in the movies that we've seen, like in Baywatch and so, that you are really running and rescuing people?
No, not at all. Usually, if there's a rescue going to happen, you can see it's going to happen. You're there on the water's edge. And on a busy day, that's where we spend our time. We don't spend our time in the tower.
If we watch the waves now, to me, they look dangerous. But I don't know. Can you swim? Is it allowed to swim now?
Yeah, you can swim any time of the year, except when we've got a danger sign up where it says beach closed. Today is fairly dangerous. Yesterday was very dangerous. It's just that
How high should be the waves that you close the beach?
Anything over 2 meters, 3 meters. But it's not so much the size of the wave, it's what the wave does with the beach, when it makes an undertow, when it makes a rip.
Imagine you see a shark, or how can you see a shark?
Very hard to see a shark because there's a lot of waves around, but when we see a shark, we put the shark alarm on, we close the beach until we make sure that there are no sharks around, and then we'll reopen the beach.
And the shark alarm is by making some noise, or you put some warnings in the beach?
The shark alarm is a very loud siren that everybody hears, and I can tell you, when they hear it, they come running.
U Australiji gotovo uvijek postoji organizirani dio života, kao što je ova plaža na kojoj se traži red i koja je označena s dosta zabrana. I onaj slobodni avanturistički dio koji je prepušten ljudima na volju, gdje zabrane ne vrijede. You can cover yourself, you don't have... The one question I want to ask. Are dogs allowed on the beach?
Yeah, this beach they're allowed.
They enjoy, I guess.
Yeah, he does. He loves the beach, so yeah.
Jednako tako možete ići u školu za surfere gdje se vježba na malim valovima, po uvalama koje više izgledaju kao rijeke ili jezera, pa dobro naučiti kako se nositi socijalno. To je izbor koji ovdašnji roditelji više vole, ali postoji i odvažni koji odmah izlaze na veliku scenu u sav rizik koji to nosi. How long do you have to train before trying the adventure on these waves? A couple of months, weeks?
Depends what the conditions are like, I guess. If it's like this, then you sort of have to be doing it for a while.
Is anyone scared of sharks?
Nah, not really. I am.
You are?
Yeah, a little bit.
I read in the papers the other day a shark was biting a man down in Sydney Harbour, and there are plenty of sharks here.
Yeah, there's a few down here the other week too. Yeah,
we're a lot
a few spotted. It's alright. We're in their territory. Got to respect them.
But did it ever happen that the shark passed nearby you?
Yeah, they can't. You see them here, but I don't know. They don't usually bother you. You just.
They swim around.
Yeah, sometimes, not a lot.
They're friendly, like,
Yeah.
If you leave them alone.
They're what?
Hey.
They're friendly?
Yeah. Yeah.
They're really friendly.
Ne boje se ovdje ni mladi ni stari morskih pasa. Za našeg boravka bijela psina je otkinula jednom surferu ruku, drugoga teško zagrizla za nogu, a trećemu je stradala surferska daska, ali je već sutradan plovio na valovima. Izgleda nevjerojatno, ali mnogi se više boje jakog sunca i posljedice za kožu od morskih pasa. I nije bez razloga. Preko ljeta ovo sunce u Australiji je opasno. Stalno bježimo u hlad, ali smo već crveni kao rakovi nakon 10 minuta na suncu. Je li opasno sunce?
Yes, Tako je, točno je opasno. Evo vidite i moje posljedice što se desilo. Evo, tu sam ja imao jednu malu, kako, nije se to ni osjetilo da je nešto veliko, pa to je bilo ko mala mušica. I možda je to uzelo puno vremena, ali utjecaj sunca i svega drugoga je došlo da je to došlo sun cancer.
Ja sam napravili operaciju.
Evo, baš sam imao prije mjesec i po dana sada operacija, evo vidite, mala stvar, ali je došlo do velikoga.
Koliko kopči?
Pa 37 kopča sam imao od čela skroz. Tako da su oni izvadili tu taj sunčani rak, kako mi kažemo, i onda su uzeli kožu sa nosa, koju su prekli ranu, i tako da su nategli ovaj dio gori, tako da su upotrebili, kaže, za najbolje upotrebiti kožu undale odakle je najviše izloženo suncu. Jer mogu užeti kožu iza uha ili sa uha ili negdje drugo, ali je najbolje to jer će to najbolje zaras i najbrže će zaras.
To nije rak, ali ima posljedice kao rak, ili ne? To
je rak, ali je sunčani rak koji nije melanoma, nego je BCC, ovdje se kaže na engleskom. Taj vrstu raka, to vam je sunčani rak koji ide u dubinu. Ali...
Dobro, ovdje upozoravaju na sve. Nemojte piti previše, nemojte ovo, nemojte voziti, vezite pojase. Pa upozoravaju da je na plaži opasno biti i da vas sunce može...
Jako puno. I to u školama još od male djece, čim počnu u kindergarten, u vrtić ili u prvi razred osnovne škole, moraju djeca po zakonu, moraju imati kape, nositi kape i na plažu preporučuju. Nije ti važno da ti ne donosi crnulo da će ti pomoći tijelu, nego ti donosi ako se namažeš sa kremom protiv sunca.
Bili smo svjedoci, ne baš najbliži, ali dosta blizu, velikih požara koji su unesrećili Australiju. Smrtno je stradalo više od 200 ljudi, mnogi neće biti identificirani, a ljudske priče koje su pratile katastrofu bile su više nego potresne. Bježalo se u automobilima, ali često se ništa nije vidjelo od gustoga dima, pa su se auti sudarali, a onda bi ih sve zajedno progutala jureća vatrena kugla. Evo, ja sam sad ovdje na 50. katu, najveće stambene zgrade, kažu, na svijetu. 50. kat, tek sam na pola, to je Eureka u Melbourneu, i imam pogled, pa nazirem dim u Kings Lakeu, što je 20 km od periferije Melbournea, i tamo je najgore. Tamo je najviše ljudi stradalo. Ukupno za sada je brojka 59, ali ta brojka raste. Međutim, teško je otići tamo. Prvo, doista nije sigurno, a drugo, ne puštaju. Jer to je sada tamo 3.500 vatrogasaca, tamo je 350 vatrogasnih vozila, tamo su oni zračni traktori, kako ih ovdje zovu, oni Elvisi, pa ima 50 helikoptera. Oni uzimaju vodu iz mora, nose tamo iz jezera jedno koje je blizu, sve što je raspoloživo je tamo, dragovoljaca je bezbroj. Uzbuđena nacija tražila je, kako to svugdje biva, krivca, piromana, zločinca, i ubrzo su pronašli najtraženijega i najomraženijega. Evo ga na slici. Tvrdilo se, ali još ni danas nije dokazano, da je podmetnuo jedan od 28 požara. Jest slabih mentalnih dometa, ali baš zbog toga je 3 put odbijen na natječaju za vatrogasca, a djevojka mu se na internetu predstavljala kao piro, dakle piromanka. Moj međutim osjećaj da je požar razbuktao meni dotad nepoznati vreli vjetar, kojega sam doživio u gradu Geelongu, 70 km zapadno od Melbourne. Još jedna pojava ovdje u Australiji u koju nisam vjerovao. Danima su novine i televizija najavljivali veliki val vrućine koji će doći u subotu u 1 sat popodne i preći ovdje preko Geelonga i bit će 44 stupnja. Ja sam se pitao, ma ko to može predvidjeti, i evo sad se dogodilo, ali ne u obliku u kome sam ja očekivao. nego u obliku vrućeg, prevrućeg vjetra koji dolazi sa sjevera i donosi tih 44 stupnja. To je apsolutno neopisivo jer puše, ali to puše kao iz fejna za sušenje kose. Vruće ljudi, vruće. Kad je taj vjetar stigao, evo vidite, Geelong je postao pusti grad. Ljudi su izlazili samo automobilima s klimom do maksimuma. Na ulicama nije bilo prolaznika. Vrućina je bila nesnosna i u 3 sata je zabilježeno rekordnih 47,6 stupnjeva. I baš smo mi morali biti u tome gradu, a višestruko su upozorili preko radija i televizije kako ljudi preko 60 godina ne bi trebali izlaziti van. Užasno su dosadne ovdašnje muhe. Velike su vrućine i one vam lete u oči, u nos, u uši jer traže vlagu i one bježe od vrućine. Ali ima i teža stvar. To su požari. Eno ih tamo iza nas. U veljači su odnijeli na stotine života, a nastaju tako što se ova trava koja je suha kao sjeno lako zapali, a vjetar velike brzine i vreo vjetar to raznosi svuda okolo. Još je tu problem drveća, eukaliptusa koji je suh, koji ostaje, ali koji se po naredbi ovdašnjih ekologa ne smije uklanjati. Sad ćemo vidjeti kako jedan izgleda, nikome ne koristi, ali takav je pristup u Australiji. Sve što je vegetacija, sve što je priroda, ne smije se micati bez izričita dopuštenja. Stručnjaka koji se zovu tree doctors, doktori za drvo, i koji daju ta odobrenja. Povijest požara, inače u ovoj zemlji, traje koliko je Australija. Još su se domorodci, aboriđeni, znali nositi sa stihijom, to nam svjedoče u Nacionalnom muzeju u Canberri.
These are the fire tools. Aboriginal people use these tools to start the fire, and of course you can see how they use this to put the fire there, but also how they use the fire stick on the kulamon and the shield. These are the fire tools. And also here it shows how they manage national parks. Now they manage national parks because they start the fire on the low ground and they clear the land.
Yeah, but then the ecologists complain. The green, they say they shouldn't burn the grass because the lizards and other animals will suffer.
Well, they use the animals to their advantage, so they flush them out so they can eat them.
Okay, the Aborigines,
It's their land. Aboriginal people is the land owns them. They don't own the land.
But nobody complains because of that?
No.
Crni četvrtak 1851. 5 milijuna hektara izgorilo, 12 mrtvih. Viktorija, Južna Australija, 1983. 103 mrtva. Izgubljeno 2819 zgrada. 100 požara je bilo na tom prostoru, tadašnjih $640 milijuna izgubljeno. 2003. ovdje u okolici Canberre 494 kuće izgubljene, 4 mrtva. Kad pogledate kartu Australije, izgleda minimalan prostor koji smo istražili između Melbourne-a i Brisbane-a, a vozili smo se, kako je pokazao naš GPS navigator, ravno 160 sati. Toliko smo proveli u automobilu, često bez društva na cesti. Ovo je ogromna, ali zapravo prazna zemlja. 20 milijuna stanovnika na jedan cijeli kontinent. Evo, mi smo jednome, uvjetno rečeno, turističkom dijelu. I ova cesta je turistička cesta. Pa pogledajmo sada koliko ćemo se voziti, slušati glazbu, a da ne sretnemo ni jedan automobil. A 5 je popodne, radni je dan, lijepo je vrijeme i nikome. Nema ni tih klokana zbog kojih postoje znakovi na cesti, nema ni koala, medvjeda, ni tih kamiona koji navodno izlaze sa trupcima, ništa. kilometrima i kilometrima sami. Sve je lijepo. Priroda, drveće, ali Pale sam na svijetu. Mi se jesmo vozili 6000 km po Australiji, ali vi ste puno više od toga i donijeli fantastične umjetničke fotografije. Kakva je Australija izvan ovih autocesta između Melbourne-a i Brisbane-a?
Pa prije svega Australija je jedna tiha zemlja, tišina vlada svuda. Ako nemate društvo, onda će ta tišina vjerovatno ući u vas. Ono što čovjek može u tišini vidjeti, u stvari boje tišine koje Australija nosi. Kontinent koji je nešto malo manji od Europe, je toliko bogat sa svojom prirodom da čovjek može čitav život provesti na određenim područjima Australije i njih vidjeti u tišini, jela, ali putujući kroz njih može doživjeti svakako što se može vidjeti kroz moje fotografije.
Jesu li Australci presretni kad vide ove fotografije kako ih prikazuju tako lijepo?
Australci su prije svega jedan patriotski narod i oni jako vole svoju Australiju, jako su vezani uz ovu zemlju, uz ovaj kontinent, koliko god ona od svoj određen način bio surov. Međutim, ta surovost donosi dubinu, donosi dušu u kojoj može čovjek živjeti. Ne znam, ne bih sad uspoređivao sa nekim našim krajima, ali naši ljudi dolaze kroz svoju povijest iz nekih teških krajeva i duboko su vezani uz njih. Tako i Australci. Naravno, kroz svoja putovanja ja nosim neke od mojih fotografija, tako da se mogu prezentirati i pokazati ljudima što radim i kako radim, pogotovo ako ulazim na nečiju farmu, na nečiji ranč, onda obično samo dovoljno da pokažem par slika i da me prihvate, da me propuste da idem kroz njihovu zemlju. Način na koji ja njima pokazujem slike koje nosim sa sobom, oduševljeni su. Koliko neko može biti oduševljen ili ne, teško je reći. Nekad ljudi kažu nešto što možda i nije istina, ali kad izvode dolare pa plate, onda stvari znaš oko se oduševljeni.
I evo nas u Kamberi, gradu koji je nastao na ledini, bez veće povijesti, kao kompromis između dva diva, Melbourne-a i Sydneya, o čemu nam kazuje bivša gradonačelnica grada broj 3, Brisbane. Are there rivalries between these three cities, Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane? In a sense, well, you are from Sydney, you are less work than I am from Brisbane, or vice versa?
There's always been rivalry between Sydney and Melbourne. And in fact, Canberra only became the capital of the city because it couldn't be Melbourne and it couldn't be Sydney, so where else? Canberra was a compromise. But Brisbane was always so far down the scale. Brisbane was a large country town. Brisbane was a convict place. Nobody took Brisbane very seriously.
Rekli su mi kako je Kambera nastala u jednom projektanskom birovu u Velikoj Britaniji, a da ti ljudi nikada nisu ni bili u Australiji. Zato je grad tako zamišljen, baš kao prijestolnica s malo duše, a s puno funkcionalnih zgrada, gdje će biti parlament. Evo, ovo je nova zgrada najvišeg predstavničkog tijela, a ovo je zgrada starog parlamenta. Pa su tu muzeji nacionalne povijesti, suvremene umjetnosti, zgrada Vrhovnog suda, sve dakle što je na nacionalnoj razini, jer ne treba zaboraviti, Australija je podijeljena na 8 država koje imaju visok stupanj autonomije. Mi smo bili u 4. Oni koji žive u Kamberi to visoko cijene, jer vele kako je to grad bez kriminala, sa sređenim prometom, bez čepova, raskošnim parkovima, lijepim jezerom. Istina, do mora se ima voziti par sati, ali je zato ovdje klima blaža, vegetacija zelenija i gušća, priroda dobro uščuva. Prve klokane vidjeli smo upravo kod našeg veleposlanstva. Naši diplomati nazvali su ih hrvatskim imenima. Jedan je Jure, drugi je Ante, bez prezimena, a ima ih još. Dolaze se nahraniti, nitko ih ne dira, premda te životinje mogu biti i štetočine. Zakon ih posebno ne štiti. U Kamberi sreli smo i prve aboriđine, australske domorodce, koje su engleski došljaci gotovo genocidno istrebljivali, zauzimajući im zemlju i ne dajući im nikakva prava. Nedavno su im se australske vlasti službeno ispričale, aboriđini ispriku prihvatili, ali traže promjenu nacionalnog dana, jer ga Australci slave po danu iskrcavanja prvih doseljenika, 26. siječnja 1788. A za aboriđine to je dan kojim je počelo njihovo stradanje.
That's the invasion day. That was when they came and invaded our lands.
You are a native Australian. You are what they call Aborigine, are you?
Yep. We are the owners of this land, but we're not recognised as that. We have our own laws, our own sovereign powers, and they do not recognise that. They proclaimed terra nullius upon us in 1788, and they still don't recognise that. White Australia has a black history. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land.
This is the Aboriginal 10 Embassy, and we're here to stop the government intervention in the Northern Territory.
But what are they doing? I mean, apparently they're trying to displace you. True?
Well, not only displace, but trying to wipe us out because they want uranium mining.
On that territory there is uranium?
A lot of uranium, and they want to mine the uranium and take away from the Aboriginal people.
Is it possible that you cooperate? Let's say you have the land with uranium, you sell the rights, you work as well, you get big salaries, and everybody happy.
Well, uranium is very, very bad. It can, the byproducts such as plutonium, and it's highly radioactive and lasts for a long, long time.
This protest site, and we're protesting since 1972 for Aboriginal sovereignty.
The sovereignty of Aborigines, what would that mean? To have the whole Australia as your territory or just parts of Australia?
Well, there's a lot of bush out there. Well, what's the population of New York? That's only a tiny bit of our country, and that's the same population as our... Here, well, there's a big lot of land out there. Why do they need it all?
So you would have a piece of land, a huge piece of land.
Yeah, what's rightfully ours.
You don't claim Sydney?
No, they can keep it. They already ruined it.
They ruined it?
Sydney, they can keep it.
They're thinking always of destroying nature. Nature is actually the reincarnated animals and trees of human beings. But these people have not been told that. So when you kill a tree or you kill an animal, that could be your mother and father. So if you kill your mother and father, they'll be angry at you. We don't do that. Your mother and father is reincarnated in these plants and animals and fish.
So nature must be preserved,
nature
definitely.
Must be preserved because one day you will die and you will come back as a bird or a tree or a rock.
What's your name? I'm sorry, and last name?
Ray Ferguson.
How come that you picked up English names?
My great-grandfather was Scottish, and all the rest Aboriginal.
And you kept the Scottish name?
Yeah.
Why don't you change it in Aboriginal?
My proper name is Yordandali.
Could you tell me 2 or 3 Aboriginal typical names?
Oh, Yordandali, Biran, Kiraben, Biran, Pimoy, Gundaway.
And do you have somebody who is, what we have, a priest who is teaching the religion, or everyone is teaching?
Everybody is a guru. Everybody. You are a guru, you are a guru, you are a guru, you are a guru. We are all teachers. We're all teachers.
You speak fluent English, excellent English. Did you go to school?
I've been to school. We all have to go to school. They're trying to force us to speak English, so we learn English.
Do you vote at the elections?
They force us to vote, we vote.
And if you had to choose Australia to be a republic or to remain with the British Crown, what would you choose?
I don't choose anything because at the end of the day, this is my land. And these people coming to us, this is my land, we make the rules.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Naravno, gdje su ugrožene manjinske skupine, tu su uvijek i borci za ljudska prava, udruge civilnog društva, svirači na električnim žicama, zeleni i svjesni borci za urbanizam, kojih je, učinilo nam se, više od prosvjednika aboriđina. Oni su support.
You are supporting these people?
Yes, we are. This is a coalition of the Climate Action Network together with the Aboriginal people. So we've had a camp for the whole weekend here in Canberra with 240 different groups represented, 150 different organisations from around Australia. And then we've had a protest this morning, which you may have seen in front of Parliament House. Then we walked down here and to recognise the Aboriginal people, and now we're going to jointly walk with them back up to Parliament House.
Because everything on the planet is affected. We have problems with us, it's too hot. There's problems with the animals, there's problems with the trees and the forests. So Indigenous people, Australian Indigenous people around the world live sustainably.
Unatoč ovim prosvjedima, treba priznati kako se posljednjih godina ponašanje Australaca prema aboriđinima ozbiljno promijenilo. Javno poniženje domorodaca ravno je kaznenom djelu. Uvedena je stroga politička korektnost, a umjetnost ovog naroda ističe se na najprestižnijim lokacijama po australskim gradovima. Taj odnos prihvaćaju i Hrvati, više oni druge generacije nego oni iz prve, koji su i dalje zaokupljeni hrvatskim povijesnim temama. Ali evo, Marinko Ivančić, druga generacija, upravitelj i suvlasnik čak 8 restorana u Sidniju, drži izložbu aboriđinskog slikarstva i veoma je ponosan na to.
What an idea. A Croatian chef boss to put Aborigine paintings. What's the idea?
Well, the steakhouse is called Outback Steakhouse. In Australia, Outback is where the Aboriginals live. And so to get that theme authentic, we had to use the authentic Aboriginal artwork. And so you can see all of these paintings were done by actual Aborigines who live in the Outback. And it means a lot to Australian people. They understand this. You know, where you would have Indian people in America, we have Aboriginal people in Australia, that they were the founding people of the country.
You are 43, you were born in Australia. It has been a change towards the Aborigines one day. Was it 20 years ago, more or less?
Yeah, it was actually almost about 1 year ago that the new government that was voted in actually said the word sorry to the Aboriginals for all of the things that were done in the past, over the past 100, 200 years.
Ovo je Melbourne, glavni grad države Viktorije i u prvim godinama 20. stoljeća glavni grad cijele Australije. Ima blizu 4 milijuna stanovnika, na moru je gdje se uljeva rijeka Yarra, nakon što navodnjava ravnicu u dužini od 240 km. Melbourne ima dušu, dobru zabavu, sjajan shopping i romantični tramvaj koji je tako oduševio pjevača Eltona Johna da je jednoga kupio i prevezao do svoje kuće u San Francisku u Kaliforniji. Mi smo prvoga dana bili kod gradonačelnika Melbourne-a, prošetali smo hodnicima vijećnice i svjedočili važnim datumima i ličnostima ovoga grada, čiji su temelji postavljeni 1835. godine, kad je kopačima zlata u okolnim rudnicima zatrebao veći grad, veća luka, veći trgovački centar.
Well, Your Excellency, thank you for having us here.
Dobro došli u Melbourne.
Hvala puno.
Okay.
Could you name 2 or 3 reasons why Melbourne is considered a city with the best quality of life in the world, maybe?
2 or 3. That's not enough. I could go on all day. First of all, we're very friendly. We're a very multicultural community. Everybody is welcome. Everybody has a place in Melbourne. So everybody feels...
We could say that for Rome as well. We could say that for Prague,
But it wouldn't be true about them. It's true about us. I know we're all very proud of our own cities, and I'm only joking, but that's because we're a very young nation. We aren't an ancient nation with a long history. We are a very young nation, and so people have come to us from all over the world at different times, and we pride ourselves in Australia that they have come, and while they don't give up, for instance, their Croatian heritage and background, they become very proud Australians as well. And we think we do that better than anybody in the world.
You are close in that philosophy to Canada, not to the United States. The States are a melting pot, and you are something like Canadians, true?
I think that is true. And I think of all the nations in the world, we would see ourselves being quite close to Canada. Melbourne is quite like Toronto, although we're a bit smaller. About 5.5 million in Toronto, about 3.7 million in Melbourne. But we're very similar cities. So yes, we would share that culture of tolerance and diversity. But the second thing is you have fun here. You have fun. The best eating, the best wines, the best beers, the best bars, the best music, you'll find that in Melbourne.
What happens with your trains when it's so hot like that?
Well, sometimes, unfortunately, they stop running. Look, our transport system is made up really of trains, buses and trams, which people would love. If Croatians come to Melbourne, they've got to get on a tram and take a tram ride. But we also have, of course, the taxi system. More and more people are cycling into the city. Those numbers have doubled in the last 2 years. A lot of people walk because you can walk into the centre of Melbourne.
You put this Croatian tie. You put us next to the Australian Croatian flag. Thank you very much. We are very flattered because of that. What do you think of the Croatian community here?
A very strong community, very proud of their soccer, very keen sports people. And I would say an ideal community in that they have kept very much their Croatian heritage, Croatian traditions, but they have also become Australians. So they have enriched our culture by bringing a bit of Croatia here. I would predict that you will see many more young Australians wishing to travel to Croatia, to understand it better, to be tourists, backpackers in particular. I think our young people are turning away from the traditional destinations, the United Kingdom, the United States, and looking more to some of the more what we would consider exotic countries. Now, Croatia has, of course, a fascinating history. Croatia, for me, is particularly poignant because I was entering Parliament in 1991, 1992, and of course that was a time of great upheaval in your part of the world. I'm very proud that Australia was among the first to recognise Croatia, and we have developed, I think, very friendly and productive relations ever since. But I must say, we're very proud of Croatians, and we've had a couple of your tennis players visit us at the Australian Open and do quite well too.
Thank you very much.
You are more than welcome.
Melbourne se bolje nego iz gradonačelnikova ureda vidi iz stana poduzetnika Branka Klarice s 50. kata nebodera Jurika. Najviše stambene zgrade kažu na svijetu, jer iznad nas ima još 50 katova. Životna priča Branka Klarice tako je tipična za tisuće naših iseljenika u Australiji. Počeo sam od nule, a danas imam i više nego mi treba.
Kad sam došao u Australiju, radio sam u tunelu 20 do 30 metara ispod zemlje, ali u Hrvatskoj sam završio zanat za vodoinstalatera. Međutim, poslije toga sam položio prijemni ispit na pedagoškoj školi u Rijeci da studiram matematiku i fiziku. Dakle, nije bilo mogućnosti i onda sam došao u Australiju. Kad sam došao u Australiju, onda sam pitao sam sebe, a s čim ja se mogu baviti ovdje? Onda sam se opozvao na svoj zanat i to je bilo negdje 67. 68. godine, a nakon 3 godine otvorio sam svoju firmu i počeo sam se baviti sa vodoinstalacijom. Dok sam zaradio malo novaca, onda smo se bacili u investicije. Tako da nisam nikad imao $500 na banci. Dok sam dobio $500, ja sam investirao u imanja. I tako da onda sam otvorio jednu građevinsku kompaniju, tako se bavimo sa građevinom isto.
Melbourne je grad kulture, zabave i sporta. Ovdje su olimpijske igre bile 1956. Ovdje se vozi Formula 1. A ovdje je svake godine i Australian Open, jedan od 4 Grand Slam teniskih turnira. Dobiva li naš Klarica ulaznicu za finale?
Evo sad je bio Australian Open, pa smo bili tih 15 dana, svaki dan po danu i po noći sa obitelji i sa poslovnim partnerima. Evo da nam je tu baš zgodno, imamo ovdje, rijeka je ispred dole i imamo...
vidimo, a ovo što imate na Australian Open uvijek 4 lože?
A čuj, to je već 20 godina. Jer to je jedno od 4 svjetska događaja u svijetu, pa zašto ga ne bi podržavali?
Od Klarice jastog od 4 kg. Nismo ga uspjeli smazati unatoč velikoj želji, ali vjerujte, jednako je dobar kao onaj iz Mljeta i Lastova.
Ako mi imamo neke obveze u Hrvatskoj.
S 50. kata razmišljali smo kako je sve ovo nastalo. Kako je Australija od zemlje aboriđina postala tako uspješna i prosperitetna. Kao i u mnogim drugim kolonijama, sve je počelo sa zlatom.
I'm trying to get used to it. Underground is hard to breathe.
There it is! Look at it! It's a miracle! A bloody miracle! Boys!
I evo nas u rudniku u mjestu Ballarat, 70 km od Melbourne-a. Za turiste su očuvali gradić kakav je nekad bio, pa smo i mi razgovarali kao da se sve događa sredinom 19. stoljeća.
Just let's go back to the 19th century. What's your name?
My name's Roger O'Connor. And
You are the owner of the mine.
No, sir, I'm the mayor. I'm the mayor of Sovereign Hill. Yes.
Do you have a lot of crime in this city?
We have far too much crime, sir.
Because of gold?
Crime leading from young children of 8 or 9, robbing other people, pickpockets. We have crime just in from one mine to the other, between the diggers, stealing their claims, and they can... we have crime, naturally, of drunks.
Do you allow drinking? Why don't you prohibit
drinking? Yes.
Why don't you prohibit?
Well, these people have to vote for me, you see, and I can't curtail their drinking habits.
Do you have prostitution in this town?
Absolutely, sir. Yes, I mean, it all ties in with the entertainment that we have, and you must have that. You must have that.
Where do they come from?
They can come from overseas. I mean, they come off the ships. Many women will come off the ships having no employment whatsoever. Another type of woman...
How they pay the price of the ticket?
With prostitution.
On the boat?
On the boat. On the boat, you know. We've had a whole shipload of prostitutes come out here for the sole purpose for prostitution. And quite often in England, where they've been charged with a crime of prostitution over there, they can either be fined very heavily or go to jail, or they can be transported out here, again, to conduct prostitution because the women are needed out here. Because the men...
You are quite cynical, you British. I mean, you arrest people in England, and then, instead of putting them to jail, you put them on a boat, and they do the same thing fully free.
Yes, of course, but they're going where they're needed, where over there they were more of a public nuisance.
So they were not welcome in London, but they were welcome in this mining area.
Very much so, very much so. Yes, it's essential that we have women of like that out here. And also another form of prostitution may come if a young woman is widowed, if her husband may die in one of the many mining accidents that we have, they might turn to that if they have no other trade to turn to.
Za kopanje zlata dobivale su se uredno koncesije u gradu Ballaratu, ali je kao i uvijek bilo onih divljih koji su ispirali zlato bez dozvole. Onda je naoružana stupala policija.
Come on, get them out! I want to see them! License is out! I have it here! Oh, yeah, very good. Oh, look at that crash! Medium over here, Clever! Come on. Get your licenses out now. Where do you go? She's getting away! Quick, get her! Quick! She's a woman. She's not going to be doing the work down here. Right. Now get your licenses out or the real trouble's going to start. We'll start knocking some heads together. These guys here got my license. These guys here got my license. What about you? Yeah, I've got a license, sir. You do. Where is it? Oi! You come back here!
Don't shoot. I'm going to report the police violence. Sir, we are from the press. Hey. We are from the independent press. Yes. Police violence. We're going to report you in the newspapers.
Not police violence.
How are you reacting? I mean, what will happen if we make it public? If everyone knows that you're shooting people?
I don't care. I don't care at all.
You have the legal right to do that?
Of course I do. I'm a trooper. I can do whatever I want.
No, you have some laws to respect.
No, not me. I make the laws. I do whatever I want.
You're the sheriff here.
That's right.
Oh, my God. You're not going to arrest me, no, I hope. I'm a journalist.
We'll see what happens. Stay out of trouble. All right?
The death penalty here? Oh, yes, our death penalties are quite high. Yes, they have to be very strict on death penalties.
How do you do it? By hanging?
Hanging, yes. Yes, hanging. Sometimes you can be flogged and you can die from those injuries, but hanging is the most common way.
And you hang for what? So let's say somebody steals 1 ounce of gold. Is that for hanging?
No, we wouldn't do that.
1 pound of gold?
No, we wouldn't do that. It
3 horses?
Depends on, well, yes, but we're not as strict with that as it is in England. In England, they would either hang them or transport them for 7 or 14 years. Penal servitude for stealing bread or horses and that sort of thing. No, it's mostly capital crimes like murder or injuries resulting in death from maybe a robbery. That's mandatory. Capital crimes are mandatory for that. Yeah.
Lord Mayor, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir.
Miss Jane, were women dressed like that in the 19th century?
Not all women wore the big petticoat, the crinoline, like this, but they did wear the long dresses, the sleeves, the bonnets, the gloves, all of that. They all wore that. Yes, definitely, yes. They dressed like Queen Victoria in Britain.
Usually miners came alone. They didn't bring families, or here they had families.
At the beginning, they came alone, that's for sure, but later on, like in the middle, or early 1850s and into the rest of the century, certainly women were here very early on the goldfields. And some of them even got down and did mining as well. And they didn't dress like this when they were mining, but they still...
But it's so hot.
Yeah, very hot. But you see, they were from Europe and from England, and they didn't realise how different the weather was out here and how hot it was. And they did try to adapt a little bit, but it took a long time because it was very important that women dressed in the correct way and resembled the upper classes and Queen Victoria and did all those things. But gradually they started to get a little more sensible about what they wore.
Ne mogu suditi o tom davnom vremenu, ali znam kakva je Australija danas. To je zemlja gdje je starost najsigurnija na svijetu. Jer radili, ne radili, nakon 65 godina života čeka vas mirovina od $1.300 na mjesec. Ako ste bračni par, oboje dobivate po 1.300, pa se tih zajedničkih 2.600 umanjuje za 10%. Međutim, ako ste veoma bogati, ne dobivate ništa, dok eventualno ne potrošite bogatstvo.
When you are 65, you are entitled to have a retirement, $1,300 a month. Will you get that?
I don't think I'll get that, but certainly for people who are entitled to it, I think absolutely we need to look after our aged people so that they live a good life.
But on the other hand, you have worked for 40 years when you are 65, and it's not fair that you get nothing while other people who maybe work 10 years get that pension.
That's the way it goes.
You think it's unjust?
No, I don't think it's unjust. I think that's as long as the people who can't afford a good living, get the pension, and live well in their older ages, then I think that's the Australian philosophy would be to support that.
A vi nemate mirovinu?
Nemam.
Kako je moguće kad svi u Australiji imaju pravo na mirovinu?
Pa moguće je, tako, jer žena radi i ona dobro zarađuje i oni kaže da ja ne mogu dobiti penziju, ne?
A kako oni dođu? Oni pogledaju koliko kuća imate, koliko zarađujete?
A oni to sve dobro znaju. Oni znaju za svakog čovjeka kako diše.
Dobro, nije ovo policijska država.
Mislite da nije. Ali smo pod kontrolom isto kao što smo bili nekada tamo u komunizmu.
Dobro, vi ste radili koliko godina?
Ovdje u Australiji. Pa sada radio sam oko 36 godina.
Imate 65 i više?
Imam 70.
I 5 godina ne primate mirovinu?
Sad puni 5 godina, da.
Dobro, što biste vi trebali uraditi da bi primali mirovinu? Sve prodati, sve darovati svakome?
Da se riješi svega, jer onda neće.
Možete li sve to prepisati recimo na kći?
Ne mogu, jer je premlada.
A recimo da imate nekog brata, da njemu sve da?
Ne bi to. Ja nemam ovdje svog nikoga.
Znači oni kontroliraju svaki vaš financijski postupak da ne bi novac nestao i da vam ne bi dali mirovinu.
Da oni kontroliraju sve. To je sve pod kontrolom.
Kako vi gledate na ljude koji su radili možda 5-6 godina u životu ili nisu ništa radili, napuni 65 i imaju $1.300?
A možda su pametni bili od mene koji sam puno radio.
Ako u životu niste stekli ni kuću, ni novac, Australija vam nudi dom za umirovljenike. Ovaj se zove Kardinal Stepinac, podigli su ga Hrvati u Sidniju i kao što vidite, bliži je kategoriji 4 zvjezdice nego 3. Tu ćete dati vašu mirovinu ili socijalnu pomoć, kako se također zove, zadržat ćete $200 za džeparac na mjesec i živjeti udobno do kraja života, uz punu medicinsku skrb, odličnu hranu i stručno osoblje koje vam je 24 sata na dispoziciji. A što vrijedi taj australski dolar, kakva je to valuta, sad ćemo vidjeti. Novac u Australiji je australski dolar, zove se dolar, ali je sav u znaku engleske kraljice. Kao i Australija, nepoderiv je, ne možete mu ništa, a ima cente. 5 centi je ova mala kovanica, 10 centi veća, 20 još veća, 50, pola dolara, velika. A onda se smanjuje, ovo je $1, a $2, pogledajte kako sitno. Za sve ono što će biti govora u emisiji o cijenama, računajte ovako. 1 australski dolar, 1 bivša njemačka marka ili pola eura. Dakle, 100 australskih dolara, 50 eura. Pocijepati ih ne možete. Zgužvati možete, ali opet su kao novi. $1, pola eura. $100, 50 eura. Oni koji su odlučili ne ići u domove za umirovljenike, a takvi su većina, uživaju u putovanjima po Australiji i inozemstvu. Unajme kućicu za boravak i spavanje i voze se beskrajnim australskim cestama. Ne rasipaju, ali imaju dovoljno za turizam od 2-3 mjeseca na godinu. What's the reason of your happiness?
We're always because happy. We're retired. And we live in Australia.
And we love every bit of it.
And every day's a Sunday.
Every day ends in Y, so it's a Y day. Why go anywhere?
Okay, so you're retired.
Yes, we're all retired.
And you travel around Australia?
Yes.
Every summer?
Whenever we can.
With these caravans?
Yes. 2 Jacos, the same Jacos. Jacos and Toyota go well together.
I'm sorry, can I ask you how old are you?
Me, 67.
And you travel, and you...
We travel.
We do, and we dance, and we drink,
and
we have
fun.
And we have a great time.
And you have been working hard all your life.
All our life.
Have.
And we've been married 47 years. And how long have you been?
We've been married 43.
43 married.
No divorces in
No
Australia.
divorces. We're all so happy. And that's what you get from travelling.
To lose her.
What did you say?
I can't afford to lose her. It costs me too much money.
So you're a hostage.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Typical Australians.
And we're sisters.
They're sisters.
We're sisters.
Okay, where are your children?
Oh, at home.
At home.
They're
Where
working
they
up. They've
belong.
got their
They're
own
working.
children.
They've got their
They've got
own
their own
children.
kids now.
So they've got to work now.
And when
We're
they
spending
retire,
their money.
when they retire, they'll be traveling also.
Almost, yeah. They'll
Oh,
probably
we'll
follow
be
our
dead by
tracks.
then.
They'll follow our tracks.
These two are sisters.
And what
So-
what were you doing before retiring?
Warehouse manager, and he was a...
I work for a dairy company.
Which
Sales manager for Queensland. Yeah, for the state.
Could you explain a bit what is that?
Well, we yogurt, milk, custard, all dairy products of the cow. Yeah.
Okay. And you were housewife?
Oh, darling. I was a sales assistant for Myer for 22 years. Myer in Brisbane City.
Are your children university graduated?
No. Just educated.
Just
They've all got their
educated.
own
They've all got
businesses
their own
now.
jobs.
A good
They own
high school
their own
education,
business.
but not university.
No.
No.
Are
definitely
you
not
university?
No.
And you can afford?
Yes,
Yes.
most
Hard
definitely.
work.
Got a plan for your retirement?
Hard work.
Hard work, early days.
If in case that you have medical problems, you are covered?
Yes,
Fully?
Yes.
definitely covered.
We've got free hospital.
And that's why we travel around and just to make sure we
So
keep
tell
our...
me one bad thing about
ourselves
Australia. Is there any
Nothing. There's
bad
nothing
things.
bad. Nothing
You
bad.
said it. Nothing bad.
Nothing
Nothing
bad.
bad. It is
Except
the weather sometimes.
floods in the north and fires in the south.
Velika je ovdje skrb za osobe s invaliditetom. Oni nisu izopćeni. Njih se obitelj ne srami kao u nekim drugim zemljama koje sam posjećivao. Oni se voze u invalidskim kolicima ili unajme vozila na baterije kako se ne bi previše zamarali i tu su s nama, svuda oko nas, u šopingu, kinu i kazalištu. A zamijetili smo kako se i došljaci prve generacije zemalja koje nemaju anglosaksonsku tradiciju brzo uklapaju u tu filozofiju sretne i sigurne starosti. Sir, we have driven 4,000 kilometers until here, and I understand that you are from?
I'm from Mandurah, 80 kilometres south of Perth.
And how is Perth far away from here?
On the west coast of Australia, but I have come up the top end to Northern Territory and Queensland and come to here already 20,000 kilometres.
My God, how long have you been driving? 1 month, 2 months, 3 months?
5 months and 3 weeks.
And what's the idea?
The idea is I've been working hard all my life. I'm 61. I stop work. I want the one big holiday.
My God, and where do you come originally from? Your ancestors, your parents, your grandparents?
Poland. Came to Australia in 1949. I grew up. I work here. And now I'm having a holiday.
Don't say that your parents escaped from the Soviets.
My mother was White Russian. My father was Polish. And they were in concentration camps during the war. But they emigrated with a lot of other people to Australia, lucky enough. And they built a new life.
And now you're retired?
No, I'm semi-retired because I'm still well. And many of my friends already die from sickness and that. And I want to see Australia. I live here all this year and I never see all of Australia. So now I'm driving by myself.
Alone?
Yeah.
No wife?
The wife is home looking after the house. Yeah? That's my car. And that is a camper trailer. That you can open it. It's a big tent, big enough for 2 people. Oh, yeah. From here, I'm going to Melbourne. And on Saturday, I'm catching the ferry to Tasmania. 2 weeks looking in Tasmania, come back to Melbourne, after go to Adelaide. And then go back to Perth about the 3rd week in April. So altogether will be 8 months having a big holiday looking my own country, you know?
Do you consider Australia being your country? What about Poland?
That was my father's country. Yeah. I haven't been back, unfortunately, but I will one day. But first of all, I want to see this country, because very good life here.
Ako ovako žive umirovljenici ili oni blizu mirovine, a nemaju fakultetske diplome i nisu radili bog zna kako unosne poslove, što je onda u Australiji srednja klasa? Po računici da je jedan australski dolar pola eura, sad ćemo doznati što ljubazni i otvoreni gradonačelnik Melbourne-a smatra srednjim slojem. Koliko je to dolara na godinu?
Look, let's presume that the husband is a teacher and has been teaching for quite a long while, and perhaps the wife is a nurse. That would mean that they would earn, as a family, as a household, probably around 140 to 150,000 Australian dollars a year. So that's quite a comfortable living. That means you can, and it's the great Australian dream, you can own your own home. And although we have more apartments in the city, Australians, Melburnians in particular, have a dream of owning their own little bit of land with a little front garden, a little back garden in the house. I think that still remains the Australian dream, although, of course, we do have a cosmopolitan apartment, flat, renting lifestyle as well. And that would enable you to own 2 cars, to own your house, and to educate your children and live quite comfortably.
Do you have ultra-rich people, like in the United States, like in Arab countries?
Look, we don't have those ultra-rich people, and we don't have those ultra-poor people either. We're a much more egalitarian society. Not that he's a citizen anymore, but Rupert Murdoch would be our most famous businessman, but he is now an American citizen. But our wealthiest individuals would probably be of net personal worth maybe 1 or 2 billion, but that's nothing compared to the oil countries and some of the very wealthy people across Europe and the United States.
Are salaries of public servants, in your case, public?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
I can ask you what's your annual salary?
You can ask me? You certainly can. My annual salary is $148,000 a year. I'm also...
Which makes you a middle class.
It does, but I do have income streams from other areas as well. I was in the Parliament of Victoria for 15 years, so I have a parliamentary pension, and I'm also chairman of a very large hospital, the Royal Melbourne Hospital, and so that is an income stream for me. I also have a private business. I'm a principal, I'm a director of a management consultancy business here in Melbourne. So they're all separate income streams, and to be honest, I probably couldn't be a full-time mayor for that amount of money.
But as a mayor, you have certain influence. On the other hand, you run private business. Can you somehow, as a mayor, do something in favor of your private business?
You would never do it. And we have full disclosure of conflict of interest, and you would be prosecuted if that were ever the case. And you have to be very careful. But in fact, that's true in all areas of public life. There are many people in our federal parliament and our state parliament who continue to be directors of companies, who may, for instance, own a farm. And the matter for conflict of interest, of course, is first disclosure and then avoidance. But unfortunately, in a modern pluralist society, there are going to be crossovers. There are very few people, although there are some, who are purely elected officials. Most people have some other interest. But of course, the moment you buy shares in the share market, it could be said that that has an influence over the way you vote, the way you think. All of those things must be declared, and they are declared publicly. They are publicly available.
Australsku višu klasu po financijskom statusu upoznavat ćemo u sljedećim emisijama. Među Hrvatima, osim već viđenog Granka Klarice, ima na stotine novčano uspješnih. Sad gledamo kuću Mile Vidovića iz Kambere koji je dobio prvu nagradu na jednom australskom natječaju za najbolji uređeni interijer. Ima i puno ljepših i bogatijih kuća, ova je nagrađena zbog originalnih rješenja. Posjetili smo i dom Nika Babića u Melbourneu, na jednoj od najboljih lokacija, s pogledom na ocean. U tih 600-700 kvadrata živi samo sa suprugom. Premda ima godine za mirovinu, još radi, ima tvornicu čeličnih konstrukcija, kao i većina Hrvata ima poslove u građevini, ali ovdje smo doznali zanimljivu informaciju. Australija izvozi svoju sirovu željeznu rudu u Kinu, tamo se obrađuje i vraća u obliku ovih ogromnih željeznih blokova, a onda se kod Babića to sječe i oblikuje.
Što se događa ovdje? Većinom su Hrvati zaposleni, veseli su, vole popiti pivo. Kad netko popije jedno pivo.
Zakon zdravstva osiguranja nalaže da u slučaju se osoba povrijedi za vrijeme radnog vremena, ako je izložena alkoholu iole mora biti 0. Ako se dogodi neka ozljeda, onda mi kao tvrtka odgovaramo osiguravajućoj tvrtci. Zato onda ga oni pokriti neće.
Znači može se voziti auto s 0,5, a na poslu je 0,0.
Ovdje niti se pije alkohol, niti se može pušiti u ovoj tvornici. Dakle 0,0 je alkohol. Evo.
I u praksi kad je neko popio čašu pive, mora ići doma.
Tako se primjenjuje, ja. I jedan obrt, jedna trgovina, ako nema dobre ljude, ne može opstajati. Dakle, odgovor jednostavan. Dobri ljudi su dobri radnici, dobri stručnjaci sačinjavaju ovaj posao kojega ja vodim, svaki drugi posao. Ja cijenim te ljude. Zato što su oni zaslužili, oni rade i kad je vruće, i kad je hladno, i kad je kiša, rade besprekorno. I gledamo i mi puno puta mjesečno napravimo roštilj, recimo da sviju Uskrs i Božić se velike se fešte prave. Ljudima se daje tolerancije, ako imaju obiteljski problem.
Dobro, i kod nas direktori prave roštilj.
Ne, to su za radnike, ne za direktore. Ne. Kod nas direktori služe radnicima. Ali radnici su to zaslužili. Donekle, ja sam isto tako radio, ja sam došao i ja razumijem kako je radniku teško i kako je naporno. Ali potrebno je raditi.
Ja imam $25 sat. Radim sa hranom i ja sam zadovoljan. Ne.
To znači jedno 60.000 godišnje.
110.000. Preko 100.000 godišnje.
Pa kako na 25 na sat? Znači da radite...
Overtime ako radiš.
Preko vremena.
Jest, preko vremena, da.
Znači nedjeljom?
Nekad i nedjeljom, ali...
Kako vas plate onda nedjeljom? Duplo? A dobro, kako vi dođete ovdje? Kako vi dođete u Australiju? Neko vas preporučuje?
Ja sam došao kao izbjeglica. Bio sam tamo protjeran iz Posavine i došao sam
92. jel?
Jest, 92. smo protjerani. Bio sam u Njemačkoj 5 godina, posle nismo mogli ostati u Njemačkoj, išli smo dalje i došao sam ovdje.
Je li ovo bolje nego Njemačka?
Kako ne? U Njemačkoj sam bio na socijalu, ne daju raditi ni 2 sata, ne daju dozvolu. I kad sam došao ovdje radim 10 sati, 12, bez problema. Nisam ja došao u Njemačku da ne radim, došao sam da radim i uvijek sam radio, 20 godina.
Imate obitelj?
Pa imam 4 djece i ženu.
Studiraju možda?
Sina imam oženjen, ima 2 unuka i kćer rade. 2 kuće, za 8 godina 2 kuće, 5 auta. To nema u jednoj državi, ja ne znam da li ima država da može za 8 godina zaraditi.
Možda u Hrvatskoj, ovako kad vam se posredi.
Bio sam ja i u Hrvatskoj. Bio sam 2 i radio sam u rafineriji Sisak 2,5 godine. 2700 kuna plaća, pa sad vi živite.
Kažu, ovo je najbolji zavarivač ovdje u Melbourneu. Sad ćemo vidjeti koji je, jer ga ne vidimo. Hop, stop! Thank you. Da vidim. Where do you come from?
I come from Vietnam. Yeah.
How long have you been in Australia for?
I've been in Australia for 30 years.
30 years?
Yeah, that's too long.
It's hard to learn English, is it?
Yeah.
How many hours do you work a week?
It depends on the company. Sometimes 60 hours, sometimes 70 hours.
Do you ever work on Sunday?
Yeah, sometimes.
And they pay you more then?
Yeah.
Ovdje kažu, ljudi rade, idu u školu da ne rade, ne da zarade.
Dakle, ljudi školovani ovdje često su slabije plaćeni od onoga što mi kažemo šljakeri.
Naši inženjeri su plaćeni van, gdje se radi na građevini, van kompanije su manje plaćeni nego radnici koji rade tamo kao obični radnice. Da.
Kad se zemlja sviđa i domaćima koji su tu generacijama i došljacima iz svih krajeva svijeta, onda je to, zaključujem, dobra zemlja. U ovom motelu sreli smo vlasnika Rumunja, koji se kao mladić usudio preplivati Dunav i preko Jugoslavije pa Austrije dobio vizu za Australiju.
Okay, you came to Australia without any money.
And
only a bag in a hand. Yeah? And then, just start to work. And I'm toolmaker by trade, and I had the jobs. In January the 16th, I was working already. I didn't speak any English at all. And you just, if you want to succeed, you can. You can go forward.
All right. Now you have this motel.
Yeah.
What's approximately the value of the motel?
The value of the motel is about 1.3 million.
Some of the ethnic minorities have their flags in their offices at home. Do you have a Romanian flag?
No. No. I do have something from Romania, but no flag. No, actually, doesn't. I'm not patriotic about my country because I left from there to be Australian, and I never go back.
Ako ste opazili, Poljaci, Rumunji, Bugari i drugi iz komunističkih zemalja koji su bježali preko granice nemaju veliku želju vidjeti svoju prvu domovinu. Za Hrvate to ne vrijedi, kad bi mogli dolazili bi svake godine. A zašto ne mogu, sad ćemo čuti jedan od bitnih razloga.
Bili svaki od Hrvata koje ovdje poznajete išao doma svake godine? Bili?
A naravno bi, jašto.
Koliko bi to recimo koštalo vašu obitelj?
Pa ja, žena i 4 djece, otprilike 12 do 15 tisuća australskih dolara.
Za aviokarte?
Za avionokarte samo.
I recimo da ostanete mjesec dana, koliko još?
Za ženom sigurno još 20 tisuća. Sigurno.
A darove?
I to, naravno darove, još oprilike imamo obitelja svudje, onda tu prilike $5,000. Ne?
Zašto Hrvati iz Hrvatske, da što vi mislite, da oni uvijek očekuju darove od rođaka iz dijaspore? A ne obratno, recimo da oni vama nekad pošalju novac.
To se čini kuda i gdje i koji su rodbine, je? Ali ja kako promislim, mi smo ovdje u Australiji da je nama dužnosti nešto dati. A nije to da oni očekivaju toliko, je? A ima i neko ko misli da je u Australiji puno lakše s novcom i s neke stvari i života. A ovdje isto se radi i mora se raditi, to teško raditi da napraviš nešto. Onako kako je u Hrvatskoj.
Postoji li neki primjer da je netko iz Hrvatske poslao svom rođaku u Australiju recimo $10,000?
A ima i to primjer koliko Bog hoće. Ja znam od moga isto punca. On su poslali redavno. I onda kad su poslali bilo je u početka hvala i onda na koncu očekivali još. I očekivaju, ali nema toga novca da možeš dati svaki put.
Ne razumijem. Mislim da me vi niste razumjeli. Postoji li primjer da je netko iz Hrvatske poslao rođaku u Australiju $10,000?
A nema tu primjera.
Nigdje niste čuli?
Nisam nikada čuo.
Vidim ja da me vi niste razumjeli u prvom.
Nisam razumio od početka.
Ovo je Sidney, najveći grad Australije, 4,5 milijuna stanovnika. Uvijek u rivalitetu s Melbourneom, koji je bio vodeći dok se kopalo zlato. A kad je glavnu riječ poveo financijski kapital, banke i fondovi, Sidney je preuzeo primat. Luka Darling sa svojim šetnicama i atrakcijama omiljeno je mjesto za susrete predvečer. A zgrada opere remek je djelo suvremene arhitekture.
Australci vole pričati o kapetanu Kuku, mladom ambicioznom poručniku Kraljevske mornarice, koji je s 90 ljudi ovim brodom, ovo je replika, dolazio u Australiju i bio putujući laboratorij. Dakle, to je bila jedna znanstvena ekipa, oni su imali biljke, oni su ovdje nosili i ne biste vjerovali, piše, jeli su povrće svaki dan i meso 4 puta tjedno. A gdje su stali na ovu malu brodicu, to je stvarno za riplija.
Kapetan James Cook nije se zapravo iskrcao u ovu luku. Odredišta koja je on pronalazio 1770. bila su nepristupačna za brodove, a tek 18 godina kasnije ovdje se iskrcala prva flota doseljenika. Za turiste u gradu napravljena je jednotračna željeznica, koja dobro dođe i svima koji žure na posao, a ne žele plaćati preskupi parking koji stoji i do 100 kuna na sat. Inače je Sydney jedan od 15 najskupljih svjetskih gradova, za razliku od ostatka Australije, gdje se cijene mogu uspoređivati s hrvatskima, a neki artikli i usluge bivaju i znatno jeftiniji. Premda je poslovni prostor veoma skup, u Sydneyu nisu nestali mali obrti, pa i u najstrožijem centru možete dati cipele na popravak.
So Australians like to repair their shoes, their bags?
Yeah, because they pay lots of money. Because they pay, yeah. Like we have $500, $600 shoes, they pay. Look, we have here for the top models. I am repairing. This one, another one. For the top models, boots. I am repairing. Look. I'm not allowed to show it, but there are for the top models, for fashion designers. I am repairing.
But look, so a lady, she's a model.
Yes.
And she has her shoes damaged.
Yes.
So she's not ashamed to come and repair the shoes.
No, what for? Why?
Because they all want to have new.
No. Because they pay lots of money. Like if you pay $1,500 for a shoes, you want to repair. If it costs you $20, $30, even $100, it's worth it to repair.
I know some in one country that are models that they would never repair the shoes.
That's, I don't know. But in Australia, everyone they repair. Yeah. Why not? If you repair it.
So it's not a shame?
No. What for? It's not a shame. It's your shoes. Like you're gonna wear it. If you pay, because you're paying a lot of money. Like if you have men's shoes cost you $800-900, you don't repair it? If you have shoes,
men repair them, but women
they repair more. We have more women than men. Yeah, all women, because they love the high heels, they love to going out, they have to partying.
So there is an actress, and she has expensive shoes, and she comes and repairs it.
Yeah, they come here. They come. They don't have any problems to repair their shoes. It's not a shame in Australia at all. Yeah.
Even some important women journalists from television?
Everyone, because we work for all designers in Australia, yeah. If there are journalists, what's the difference? There are human like me.
Quanto tempo fa che lei sta qui?
Io 55 anni.
Ma è un artesano lei, eh?
Artesano, sì. Sì, io facevo scarpe nuove, ma dopo ho cominciato a fare la riparazione perché le scarpe nuove stavano mancando. Adesso importano le scarpe nuove dalla Cina, dall'Europa, l'Italia, Germania, everywhere.
Jasno, ovo je Fortuna, najstariji pub u Sydneyu iz 1828. godine, a najbolje australsko pivo koje mi pijemo po Europi je Foster's Lager. Yes, could I have a beer?
Yeah.
Foster's Lager?
We don't have Foster's.
In Australia, I don't have it. Okay, give me the best then. Okay, which one is that?
Two is new.
How much?
$4.60.
Yes, okay. Oh, look, in England, they always keep the change.
Oh, no, we don't really tip here.
You don't get tips?
No, not a lot.
I can't believe it. What an honest country.
Yeah.
They always say in Australia, you should have a responsible drinking. What means responsible drinking?
Responsible is that you can make it home safely. That's right, without killing anyone, especially with a car.
Is there any limit, fixed limit?
Yeah, the 0.05, I believe, is our drinking.
They got the recommended limit.
Yeah, that's right. And you shouldn't drive a car over the limit, and it'll cost you a fortune if you get caught too with the police.
But you don't drive a car, and you have three beers. Will the waiter say, oh, look, sir, you had 3 beers, I'm not serving you the 4th one?
Yeah, and she can kick you out of the place, yeah.
If he'd only had 1 glass of wine at the restaurant and he drove there, he would probably be allowed to have a 2nd glass of wine. But if the waiter was concerned for the customer's well-being, he probably wouldn't give them another glass of wine if he felt that they wouldn't be able to act responsibly.
And what happens? Because drunk people are terrible. They say, hey, come on, give me 1 more glass. I paid the dinner. I want 1 more glass.
Then the waiter and the owner of the restaurant has the right to not serve them anymore and ask them to leave the restaurant.
And they say, I'm not leaving, man, I'm staying here.
Then he might call security and get them to take him out.
At the end, it's always the security or the police.
Yes, that's right.
I ako sve to ne pomogne, onda postoji alkotest. Za samo $1, za 3,5 kune, izvučete slamčicu, ubacite to, pušete i znate jeste li spremni za vožnju automobilom. Lako je šaliti se s alkotestom, ali što ćete kad vas zaustavi prometna policija? Onda moji snimatelji Jure i Charlie potajno snimaju s malom kamerom i evo točne priče bez montaža.
On holidays, are we?
And now we are a television crew from Croatia, and we are filming around Australia. We're going to Brisbane.
How long are you here for?
Oh, we're going to stay until Friday morning in Brisbane, and then we go back to Sydney. So this is my national license.
That's fine. Can I just give you a requirement? I need a specimen of your breath. For that, I need you to take a big deep breath from me and blow directly and continuously into the end of the tube until I tell you to stop. Okay, just a big deep breath for me.
0-0.
Perfect, 3 zeros. All right, that's all good. You enjoy the rest of your time.
You're doing it too early in the morning. Try at 2 p.m.
We do it 24 hours. It's amazing how many people you get from the night before. Enjoy your day.
Šta si me snimio kako puha? Ha?
Pa normalno, 0,00. Jedino se bojim kako će to utjecati na moju reputaciju u kvartu. Ali zamislite da oni u 10 ujutro traže tragove pića prošle noći. I tako smo, veseli i bezbrižni, došli do male luke u predgrađu Sidneja upoznati pravu australsku obitelj anglosaksonskih korijena. Evo obitelji Bates. Otac Anthony, farmaceut, direktor tvrtke koja proizvodi lijekove, supruga Ashley, kućanica, iz obitelji engleskog plemstva, ovdje je s njima kći Wendy, a sin John odavno vodi svoju firmu u Londonu. Vodili su nas na jedrenje po paklenom suncu, a mi ćemo kombinirati sliku s mora s razgovorom u stanu.
Let's say your daughter doesn't want to study. She works in a shop. She makes $3,000, and she stays with you and saves her $3,000 for herself.
Yeah, well, that doesn't necessarily go together. Our children basically, once they've finished school, once they've finished university, and as soon as they get some income, are all wanting to go out on their own. And that the general culture here is that when the child has gone through the education, they will want to go out into flats or into shared living with other people. They see that as part of the growing up process, and I think as parents we do too. So when that daughter went out, got a job, got some money, her first direction would be to go then flatting with other young people and sharing a flat and sharing the expense.
And then she comes and says, look, my salary is low. I want to live the same standard I had in your home, in parents' home. Please pay my rent.
That's like a dream. And indeed, that would be very rare in this country.
Parents have money. Why wouldn't you buy your daughter a car, the furniture and everything?
What's
the logic? not to buy them.
No, the logic is to try and get the kids to be self-contained and to learn. And we believe that just by handing out money and handing out those assets, the kids aren't learning what they need to learn to be successful in life.
Aussie, Aussie, Aussie! Oi, oi, oi! Aussie, oi! Aussie, oi! Aussie, Aussie, Aussie! Oi, oi, oi!
Let's say your daughter is independent. She starts working, but of course her first salary is low. She has to pay the rent and so on. So your husband says, well, you are on your own. Are you, as a mother, more sensitive and then from time to time give her a couple of $100s to make her live a little better?
Oh, yeah. Well, I think Dad's a bit of a softie too, but yeah, Mum would always take her shopping and see the need for maybe a new dress, just so that she can, wear it to work, of course. But no, we do feel that it's important that they learn to pay their own way. And I would certainly, if we're out, fill up her car with petrol and yeah.
Napomena, kod pravih protestanata, kod luterana, kao što su Finci, Šveđani, Norvežani, ne bi bilo iznimke, ne bi mama dala ni za benzin, ni za haljinu, kad se kći iseli iz kuće. U Australiji pravila su ublažena. Mješavina kulture i donijetih navika učinila je svoje. Zato također je Australija najbolja zemlja.
What's your job?
I've been a beauty therapist for 12 years and I'm also doing some art, which is shell frames and shell boxes that sell very well.
You didn't graduate from university?
No, I didn't.
Are you a typical Australian?
I would consider myself one, yes.
So, I'm sorry, how old are you?
I'm 29.
So, 29-year-old Australian from an upper middle class family. Is it normal that she hasn't got a university degree?
Probably 40% would not have a graduate degree.
But 60% will have?
Yes.
Do they consider you atypical in a sense that it's negative, or they envy you because you took your life and your fate into your hands?
Good question, depending on who, but I believe probably less opportunity, definitely I agree with that. But in another way, I've lived life and experienced some things that other people haven't had. So I think I'm very fortunate.
Mala digresija, upravo prolazimo pored otoka gdje je bio glavni zatvor u Sidniju. Koncept sličan Alcatrazu u San Francisku. Slobodno probajte pobjeći, obala nije predaleko, ali morski psi su svuda okolo. Mi ih nismo vidjeli, ali dolaze psi loviti ribu koja se ovdje brijesti, a riba se ne smije loviti jer je more navodno zagađeno preko ekološki dopuštene mjere.
You are, if I may say, over 65?
I'm over 65.
Are you having a state pension?
No. In fact, I've just turned 70, and I enjoy working, and I still enjoy working. And my intention would be to be self-contained, where I do not require a state pension.
Okay, because you have enough resources, enough money not to get the state pension. But it's unfair. I mean, you've been working for 40 years and you get nothing. And some people that were working 1 year or 2 years or no years at all, they get the pension.
No, I think it's a bit broader than that. And I think we see that we've been lucky, that we're lucky and we've been able to have a good job, work hard, use the community, taken advantage of what's out there. So we're in that group which have been able to generate some money, to save some money, and therefore can have a good lifestyle after work. But no, we don't see it as being unfair, because as it's like, we see that the society, the community has sort of given us that opportunity. And then I guess our own background is such that we've been able to then push ourselves to accumulate. And no doubt from a total society point of view, you want everybody to be reasonably comfortable.
Premda solidno bogati, ovi Australci ne pate od brodova i jahti divovskih razmjera. Sve su jedrilice primjerene veličine, služe za obitelj i par prijatelja. Nadmetanje u bogatstvu ovdje jednostavno nije pristojno. Milionaši u dolarima rado će u jaht klubu volontirati za besplatno pečenje kobasica kako bi se skupio novac za oboljele od leukemije ili za druge humanitarne svrhe.
What means to be a volunteer here in this club?
To be a volunteer, particularly in this the Tackers program, as you can see, that's is here to support the kids and get them on the water. So my role is just to get the boats ready, help the kids get rigged, and help them come off the water, and that's it. The rest is up to the children to go out and have a good time. So we're here just to support them.
Where do you work normally?
I work in the IT industry.
And you come on weekends to volunteer?
Just on the weekends, that's right.
You don't get paid for that?
No.
How much money would we be able to raise for children with leukemia or cancer? We've run a couple of regattas here and different functions during the day, like barbecues. And the last one we raised $22,000 for leukemia, and that was for the Leukemia Foundation. We do an autism regatta as well. So that's for children with autism, and the whole community gets together and they go out sailing to raise money. We have auctions as well. So it works quite well.
But what's your regular work? What's your regular job?
My regular job is I'm a marketing, PR and sponsorship executive. So I have my own business, and then I have different clients that I consult to. So I organise big regattas as well, and I speak to sponsors and look at raising money for different people.
And this thing you're doing for free?
Well, Middle Harbour I actually work for as well. So, but today I'm here to take photos to help out with what we're doing.
And what's your reward? I mean, in a sense that you volunteer, you give your time.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, I think everyone volunteers. It's a club, so everyone has a job, but then they will also volunteer a certain amount of time to just contribute, I guess. And most people get a lot of satisfaction out of just contributing.
Sad je dosta bilo s ljudima, idemo se malo družiti s životinjama. Poluotvoreni zoološki vrt sa zatvorenim otrovnicama, a slobodnim klokanima i koalama. To je priča za nas.
So we do have some of the most venomous snakes in the world here in Australia. And we do have the most venomous snake in the world, which is the western taipan from Central Australia.
Now we see one by one. This is a rattlesnake.
This is the Yurikawan rattlesnake. Now, a test that determines the toxicity of a snake is called an LD50 test. And on the LD50 test, the Yurikawan rattlesnake, doesn't come up very high, but it doesn't mean they're not a highly venomous snake. Their bite is very difficult to treat, and so it makes them a very serious bite.
You can die on it?
Yes, absolutely, yep.
This little one looks more like a lizard.
These are the Siamese spitting cobra. So these are a highly dangerous snake because, one, they can spit their venom. They aim for your eyes, and if you don't get it washed off quickly, you become blind permanently. Now, this is the tiger snake, and the tiger snake is one of Australia's most famous snakes, and they used to be the most common cause of snake bite death in Australia. And
so you walk in the fields and the snake is there?
Yeah, these guys tend to hang around water. They eat a lot of frogs and skinks, so you'll usually find these around water.
This black one?
This is called a red-bellied black snake, and these are considered to be a highly venomous snake, and they are a very serious bite. However, they've never been recorded to kill anybody, but they are a very, very painful bite.
A green one?
This is called the western taipan from Central Australia. These are by far the most venomous snake in the world. Some people wonder if baby snakes are more venomous than the adults, which is not true. The baby snake is exactly as venomous, just smaller venom glands. But
so a normal person, healthy normal person, if not cured, in how long might die?
Okay, snake venom travels through the lymphatic system, so with muscle movement. So there's a few things that come into play. What type of snake? In the case of a western taipan, the venom is pretty fast-acting. It depends on where you've been bitten. Obviously, a chest bite is going to affect you sooner than the extremity of a limb, say to the hand. And more importantly, how much you move your muscles. So you could feel the effects in, on average, 5 to 20 minutes, but you could feel the effects in a minute or under a minute in the event of anaphylactic shock, a severe allergic reaction, or you could feel the effects 24 hours later. There's no time limit, but the average would be 5 to 20 minutes, and once you get the effects from something like a Western taipan, you don't have very long. But
and you die of it.
Well, we're very lucky here in Australia. Our anti-venom is the best in the world. It neutralises venom better, and it's got the lowest risk of allergic reaction of any other anti-venom in the world. So if you get anti-venom for these bites, in fact, no one's died from a Western taipan bite because bites are very, very rare. But if you got bitten by a Western taipan and you didn't treat it, you didn't get anti-venom, I would think that you would be at 100% fatality. You'd definitely die from a taipan bite.
I wouldn't, jer šta je kod mene pitanje? Prvo, kad bi me ugrizla za nogu, dugo putuje do gore, a cirkulacija je 0, prema tome ja bih živio, ne bi ni osjetio. Are native Australians, the Aborigines, somehow immune or have higher immunity than newcomers? Did you trace that back?
Well, I think what it is, the Aboriginals were actually quite smart at this sort of stuff, and it was often, you often hear of Aboriginals getting bitten by a venomous snake, and they say, go to sleep under a tree, which doesn't sound like a very good way to treat a snake bite, but it's actually quite logical because it works through the lymphatic system, so with muscle movement. So if you're going to sleep under a tree, you're relaxing and everything's affecting you very slowly, so you've got the best chance of trying to ride the bite out.
Aj prođi ti. Ajde prođi. Nemam ništa za jelo. A pazi se pitona. Ovo je autentični australski piton. Nije otrovan i nije ni prevelik, bar ovaj primjerak. A što hoćeš, čovječe? Ne. Evo da ćemo malo. A nemoj šape, grebe. Hvala. Bilo je dobro. Dobar umac. Očistimo malo.
Pa koliko je tih klokana u Australiji? Agencija Hendal pitala je 400 Hrvata iz Hrvatske za mišljenje i da je klokana 100.000, reklo je gotovo 50% ispitanika. Da ih je 1.000.000, to misli 41,6%. A točan odgovor, klokana je u Australiji 150 milijuna, to je znao jedva svaki 10. anketiranih Hrvat. Ali hajde, znamo mi važnije stvari nego što su klokane.
Postoje li u njihovoj zajednici ljubomora? Čeli, daj mi malo ovoga. Da vidim šta će ovaj sada ugrožena vrsta jesti. Grabi ovim panđama, ne da ti izvući ruku. Vidiš ti kako on to zgrabi. Sad smo se već ovdje odomačili. Hrane nemamo, oni to znaju. Rutinski podignu glavu, vide praznu ruku i ostajemo prijatelji. Bog, više se ne miču iz hlada. Sada vidimo, bojili mi se koala. 2 su. Are you scared? Is it dangerous to caress them? Kaže, veoma su pitome kad su ovako u zatočeništvu, ali u divljini mogu biti i opasne. Ugrebat, ugrist. Why are they so slow? It's not because they eat some leaves that are kind of anesthetics, that are like marijuana or that like some drugs. We hear all kind of stories.
Yeah, it's a very common myth about koalas that they're drugged or drunk off the leaves, and the reason why is because they only eat eucalyptus leaves, and on average, each leaf contains about 13% tannins. And in these tannins are toxic poisons called phenols, which you find in cleaning products like dishwashing liquid. So people say they're drugged or drunk from it, but the real reason, their metabolism can break those poisons down, the real reason for them being so inactive is that there's almost no energy in eucalyptus leaves, so because that's all they eat, they just tide all the time.
You know these animals. If you could describe their feelings at this moment, are they curious, angry that we are disturbing them? What do you think?
This one's looking for food. The reason why is because we take these animals out for public to pat, and the way we do it is get some nice fresh leaves that they like, and they'll climb onto us for cuddles. And so they're trying to climb onto us for cuddles because they know they get the gum.
Now she or he understood that there is no food and going back.
Koale su velika ljubav Australaca, ali ovdje nisu tako nježni prema svim životinjama. Kad se procijeni da bi mogle biti opasne po zdravlje ljudi ili okoliš, eliminiraju ih bez puno milosti.
And this funny car, could you explain?
Yes, this is called the buffalo catcher. What this does is extends the arm that has been added to the end of the truck and catches buffaloes alive. So each of these trucks will catch about 20 to 30 a day. And this is to contain the buffaloes because there's a lot of buffaloes on the end of the top of Australia. And of course they came from the island of Timor.
So they didn't pass the veterinarian control.
That's right. So they control them like that. Well, one way to control them is that, and I'm pretty sure they have a lot of other ways too. But there's still a lot of them that they cause erosion to the land and they spread the disease to the other animals and compete with the wildlife up in north of Australia.
It looks pretty, I would say, rough and severe and cruel catching buffaloes that way. I mean, do you have complaints in Australia from the ecologists, from the animal protectionists?
No, because buffaloes they use them for meat, so like the sheep or the cattle here in Australia, so they don't get complaints like that. I suppose it's a cruel way of catching them, but it doesn't hurt the animal. They just catch them alive. So they put them on top of trucks and then they proceed them to the abattoirs. But what this particular vehicle was used, Tommy Fawcett, the inventor of this vehicle, used this vehicle for his wife. If I can just show you a photo, for her to go to church. She was dressed in her wedding attire.
Oh, you have that photo?
Yes. And she steps on this tin here to go on top of this truck, and off she went to church to get married. So this is Mrs. Fawcett there getting up on the truck.
Krokodili nisu baš bili željni našega društva, valjda se boje ljudi jer se u mnogim restoranima krokodilsko meso poslužuje kao specijalitet, osim što se od tih simpatičnih beštija prave torbe i lisnice. Gastronom međunarodnog glasa Denis Valčić, koji ima vlastiti TV show, učinio nam je čast i posebno pripremio krokodila u punch bowlu u Sidniju, pa da vidimo sada kako se to radi.
Pa koliko je velik ovaj krokodil bio?
Ja bih rekao negdje oko 35 do 40 kilograma. Tu je negdje na granici težine za uzgajanje, za ugostiteljstvo.
Oni su uzgajaju za ugostiteljstvo?
Da, to je iz farme, to nije divlji krokodil koji luta po rijekama i močvarama i tako. Napravit ćemo najprije ražnjiće od krokodila. Tu smo ga sjecili na male kockice, je li tako? Onda smo ga marinirali u gratanoj koži od limuna, u svježi čili, u džinđa i sweet chili sauce. Right? I mora se oko 2 sata marinirati. So what are we going to do? We're going to stick the crocodile on a sticks. Like that.
So that would be one portion, 2 sticks.
Yeah, 2 sticks will be one portion if you go in a restaurant, right? But of course, if you do it at home, you can do as many as you like. Okay, now we'll do this pan fry, right? Because it's much, and we're going to use a peanut oil, right? So make it even more authentic. Pošto je on već 2,5-3 sata mariniran, nije potrebno više dodavati ništa, nego ćemo ga servirati onda na on a bed of rice and we'll just some carrots and the decoration, okay? I sos, ali ovaj puta ćemo dati umak, tako da idemo malo i u Hrvatsku. Servirat ćemo ga sad sa Croatian sauce. Okay. Sliči kao da je piletina, jel tako kad gledaš? Ja. I ne treba puno, tu oko 2-3 minuta i on je gotov. We're gonna serve it with a sliced mango. Then we'll serve it with my Croatian sauce, all right? So that we involve the Croatia here in this dish as well, right?
Right.
This is the sauce I invented for the Australian.
What's in it, if it's not a secret? It's a secret.
It is a secret, yes. But most of the ingredients are on the label, right? And we can use some basil.
I see this is quite enough for one person.
Yes.
They don't serve 7-course meals with small portions. They like to eat well and big, yeah?
Yes, Australian people like to have their plate full. You will probably realize that on your tour of Australia. Yes, we do. Not like in Spain, where they use tapas, where they eat 10, 15 different dishes with only 1 or 2 pieces on each plate, yes.
Here it's half kilo on the dish.
we are big eaters in this country. Yes, right.
Sad krokodil. Nisam Rene Bakalović, nisam Veljko Barbieri, nisam Davor Butković. Ne znam što jedem. Idemo dalje. U predgrađima većih gradova slika kako nisam viđao ni po Americi. Tu su tisuće i tisuće polovnih automobila, najviše Japanaca, ali Australci proizvode i svoje modele Opela, Forda i Toyote. Are people patriotic about the cars? Do they insist on buying Australian cars because maybe they will have an easier access to spare parts, or just because it's Australian?
I think partly because it's Australian, but yeah, you've got, anywhere you go in Australia, you've always got a Holden, a Ford or a Toyota dealer.
It's a multi-ethnic country. You have different ethnic groups. Which groups are tougher as buyer and asking more than other groups?
It depends. I mean, you know, a lot of with the ethnic groups, a lot of your Asian groups, they're more dollar-driven, and they do buy by discount, judge a buy by a discount rather than by the vehicle. Other people are easy to deal with.
A new car costs, let's say, $30,000. 2 years after, with an average mileage, how much can you sell it?
Oh, it's probably going to be around about half its value. You'll be looking around the $15,000 mark. So, yeah, they do halve in value roughly after the first 2 years, and it slows down after that.
Naravno, u ovom biznisu s automobilima ima i Hrvata. I to na kakvim položajima. Opet smo u onome stanu na 50. katu u Melbourne. Što ste vi danas?
Ja sam danas predsjednik i CEO Ford Australije i Novog Zelanda.
Vaš je otac radio kao radnik u Fordu, vi ste sada predsjednik uprave Forda Australije Novi Zeland.
Je, tako je.
Kakve su navike Australaca? Kakve aute vole? Štedljive, velike, brze?
Australci su inače voljeli velika auta sa velikim motorima. Naravno zato što, kao što vidite, Australija je velika država, velika zemlja. Ali ove zadnje 3-4 godine mnogo se promijenilo. Ulje iđe gor u cijeni.
Nafta mi kažemo.
Nafta. Narod, inače kupci, mnogo su sada pažljivi u vezi troška, a ne samo to, nego isto sada gledaju u vezi svoju dužnost prema inače environmental stvari.
Kada Marin Burela se predstavi kao predsjednik uprave jednoga Forda, kako reagiraju ovi
vladajući australski anglosaksonci?
Pa znate, da vam ovo ispričam jednu priču. Kad sam bija stavljen na skup na čelu Land Rovera, Jaguara i Aston Martona, to je bilo 2000 godine. I ja sam se onda izjasnio kao Hrvat. Ja sam jako ponosan što sam Hrvat. I u ono vrijeme predsjednik Forda iz Detroita me zvao i pitao me jel sam stvarno to rekao. Ja sam mu rekao još ja kažem sa srcom. I on mi je na to čestito.
Ima i zaljubljenika u automobile kojima to nije nadasve biznis. Tu ćete mahom naći Australce anglosaksonskih korijena.
Restoring, repairing this car?
No, we build the cars from scratch. We start with the chassis and then the body and we build the whole car, the suspension, engine, transmission.
How long does it take to build a car like this?
Well, they vary. We build Cobras, GT40s and the 917. Cobras take, from start to finish, they take about 8 to 9 months. GT40s take about 12 to 18 months and 917's about the same.
And when it's finished, what would be the price?
Well, they vary. Cobras range from $120,000 to $180,000 Australian. GT40s from about $180,000 to $300,000 Australian. And the 917 Porsche, around about the same.
I don't see the profit because if you work for 9 months and you sell it for $120,000, $150,000 or $200,000 and the parts are expensive, how do you make money?
Oh, we don't make a lot of money. We're all enthusiasts, car nuts, love cars, and just love what we do here.
And what's the maximum speed of this car?
This car, maximum speed of the original car that we are building the replica of, was 350 miles an hour.
350 miles?
I'm sorry, 250 miles an hour. 250 miles an hour.
Which is 400 kilometers
400 kilometers an hour, that's right.
U međuvremenu je tu dobri pas koji je donio ovo da bi se igrali. Ajmo.
Kako je samo taj pas praktičan, pa šapicom podigne taj drveni komad. I on je anglosaksonac. Evo nas u Warwicku. To je mjesto od 25.000 stanovnika, 100 kilometara zapadno od Brisbane-a. Kao i posvuda, gradić ima anglikansku crkvu jer ovdje su Englezi tradicionalna većina. Ova se crkva smatra jednom od većih anglikanskih. A blizu je i katolička crkva. Ona u Australiji spada u manje. Ta razlika u veličini oduvijek nas je zanimala, pa smo izravno upitali anglikanskog svećenika.
Was the Anglican Church the first one to come to Australia?
When the first colonists came to Australia in 1788, they had a group of boats known in Australian history as the First Fleet, and there was an Anglican priest on that fleet, and the first Anglican service was conducted about a week after they arrived in 1788.
What are your activities besides prayers?
The Anglican Church is involved in the community. We have people going into schools every week to teach Christian faith to the children, and we do that in partnership with the other churches. We have people running groups for company, social groups for widows and for people who are unwell. We have people who go into the old people's homes to visit the old folks.
Is this a big Anglican church? I don't see it very big.
This is a quite traditional Anglican church. In 1868, when they started building this church, they were still building them the way they built them in England. So this is built like an English village church, and it's about the size you'd get in a provincial town.
The Catholic Church next door is enormous. Why do you think Catholics build always big?
I think we all build with the money we've got at the time, and they must have just had a good donor when they were building.
Why do you think Catholic donors, are so generous to build the big churches?
We get on well with the Catholic Church in Australia. We have a good relationship with the local Catholic parish and with the local Catholic priests.
Kod protestanata i groblja su po tradiciji skromno uređena. Smatra se kako se razlike u bogatstvu ne trebaju pokazivati nakon smrti. Ovdje u Warwicku, na lokalnom groblju, ne bi se moglo pogoditi tko je od pokojnika bio farmer ili vinar, milijunaš, a tko je živio od socijalne pomoći. Međutim, i to se u Australiji mijenja pod utjecajem došljaka koji žele više dostojanstva za svoje umrle. Nedaleko od Warwicka gradi se veliki krematorij koji se može mjeriti s najluksuznijim građevinama u Europi. I to je nešto novo u Australiji. Ali i katolici drukčije razmišljaju u ovoj vjerski izmiješanoj zemlji. Hrvatski svećenik u mjestu jake hrvatske dijaspore Geelongu šalje poruke kakve rijetko čujemo u domovini.
Kad sam ja došao u Australiju prije 35 godina, ja sam primijetio, jer gledam život, to je tako normalno, gledamo sve što se zbiva, ja sam primijetio da ovdje sve sito, sve zadovoljno. I mačka, i pas, i ovca, i krava, i čovjek, sve je sito. Nitko nije gladan. I to se tako ljudi lijepo osjećaju da se to opisati ne može. Može se reći točno kao da je rajski život. Ali da bi to bilo uspješno, ja sam jedan put upitao jednog Australca kako Australija može osigurati jednom čovjeku, pa to bilo Hrvatu, Italijanu, Grku, Španjolcu, kad on dođe, nakon 3 godine već ima auto, već ima pola isplaćenu kuću, nakon 10 godina ima i kuću i tako, a on je meni odgovorio, kaže da je government magic. To je tako samo odgovorio. Ali ja sam da rekao sam u sebi, kakvi magic, nego to je prebogata zemlja. Tu ima silno blago rudno, tu ima silna pšenica, silno meso, silna vuna, silna riba. Tako da
ima i u Brazilu, samo što ne vidim rezultate.
Tako da oni nastoje to pravedno dijeliti.
Puno je knjiga napisao velečasni Gnjeć, među kojima i ovu mudrost hrvatskog naroda, među kojima su vladar je moćan koliko su mu podanici odani. Vlast je najslađa kad počne izmicati. Vlast je košulja koja se samo s kožom skida. I takvih 15.000 koje je skupio u 50 godina.
Ovdje što ja znam, ljudi na vlasti su toliko strogi. Kad bi netko pronevjerio bilo što, kažnjavaju ga za vjekove. Na primjer, kad bi jedan radnik u Fordu ukrao vrijednosti $100, recimo 500 kuna, on izgubi posao da čitavi život Australije ne može raditi. To je tako strogo. Dakle, što ja mislim da oni pošteno dijele novac.
Proste, u arapskom svijetu za $100 odsjeku ruku, pa opet ništa.
Čuo sam, pa eto, kažem, ne mogu baš garantirati. Ja se često mislim kako to da je Sjeverna Amerika tako bogata i napredna, a Južna ne. Možda je zato što su u Sjevernu Ameriku došli Englezi, Norvežani, Šveđani, Njemci.
Dakle, protestanti, a na jug katolici. Što ćemo sad?
Ja ne bih rekao ni protestanti ni katolici, nego ozbiljnost naravi. Nisu Njemci vrijedni zato što su Njemci ili što su protestanti ili katolici. Oni su vrijedni zato što su oni u hladnoj klimi. I on ne može biti miran, on mora nešto raditi. Onaj južnjak u Africi, njemu je vruće, njemu nije do rada, ni ozbiljnosti, njemu je samo do šale, do igre i do sunca.
Velečasni, ovdje je sada danas 44 stupnja, pa opet ljudi rade.
Je, ali ovi ljudi su došli većinom iz Engleske koji upravljaju s nama, oni ne mogu se za čas pretopiti u Australce i aboriđine.
Vratimo se u Warwick, farmersku oblast gdje su polja uzorno obrađena i gdje ne postoji nijedna kultura osim kivija koja ovdje ne uspijeva. Uostalom, hajdemo do male trgovine uz cestu vidjeti čega to nema.
All the products here are grown in Australia.
Okay, let's see one by one. Idemo sad pogledati. Dakle, svi ovi proizvodi su iz Australije osim kivija. I limete, i limuni, i naranče. A ovo smo viđali u Ekvadoru, to je onaj passion fruit. To je ono što kažu afrodizijak, a najviše ga kupuju Njemci. Vidim ovdje i kod Australaca postoji. So Australian bananas also.
It's not a banana tree, it's a stool.
And how far from here do they grow them?
Probably 2-3 kilometres. They have a plantation up in the hills, and they grow the fruit, and they cut it down, they bring it in. Then the banana stool dies. It only has one stool a year.
And the corn?
The rain came too late. And see, it doesn't fill because of the drought.
Oh my God.
See, if we'd had rain, that would have been lovely and full. But it's been very, very dry.
Does the agriculture here depends very much of the climate?
Very much so. Yes, it does.
So what do you do with this? I mean, they
have cattle, beef cattle. So all the tubs out there go back to the beef cattle to eat. So nothing's really wasted.
Da vidimo i cijene. Salata 8 kuna, jedna ova veza, 8 kuna, nije jeftino. Mango, oko 9 kuna ovaj komad, ne znam naše cijene. A ovo su oni slatki krumpiri po 3,5 kune za kilu. Svega ovdje ima. Indijskog oraha, dakle nije iz Indije i kikirikija, ali ovo je moja obožavana hrana. Macadamia nuts. Ovako izgledaju, a ovakvi su kad se ogule, kad im se skine ljuska. Sad smo na obiteljskoj farmi, vlasnika smo sreli u općini gdje radi u uredu kao pravnik i on s ponosom ističe veliku tradiciju svoje farme.
This farmhouse is 100 years old today, or this year rather, not today, but this year, and it was originally built for the son of one of the original settlers in this region, so there's a little bit of history about the house in this region as well.
100 years is a long period for you, yeah?
Well, in Australia it's a long time. I know in Europe it's not very long, but there's not many 100-year-old houses left in Australia. So.
In this area, few houses 100 years old?
Very, very few.
Stado ovaca je blizu nas, ali ova čudna crna životinja koja sliči na lamu iz Ekvadora, Perua, odvlači ovce daleko od nas. Ma nije valjda da ima ulogu psa čuvara, tornjaka, kako bi se kod nas zvao.
And that big black animal, it's a big sheep or what?
No, that's an alpaca. His job is to protect the flock from dogs and foxes. They're one of the only animals that can actually kick outwards and not just backwards and front. So if any dogs or foxes come near the flock, he kicks them and they go away.
So it's more dangerous than the dog?
Yeah, you could say that. You don't want the dogs to get near our own dogs. If they get near the alpaca will just kick them. So.
You mentioned foxes. Do you have wolves?
No, we don't have any wolves here. I don't think there are any wolves in Australia, but there's a lot of foxes. A lot of foxes.
And they eat cattle?
No, mainly they eat chickens. We lost 8 chickens just a month ago when they got into the chook house one night. They'll also eat the lambs when they're just born because they can't move around very fast. So that's why we have the alpaca to protect the flock from the foxes.
A što se goveda tiče, ona su za meso. Osobno svjedočim kako je australska govedina ravna argentinskoj, američkoj, gotovo pa i hrvatskoj.
I see in the restaurants 100 days grain-fed animals, and they advertise that as a great thing.
Yeah, grain-fed, how many days you see there is the number of days at the end of their life that they spend in a feedlot getting fed on grain. Normally they would be grown out on grass for a period of time until they're almost big enough, and then they get sent into a feedlot and they get fed on very high energy grain, high fat grain food for 100 or 90 days or whatever it is.
And that's a better meat?
It's different meat. It produces a meat that's got a lot more marbling or a lot more fat through the centre of the meat. Perhaps doesn't have quite as much flavour as grass-fed beef, but that's an argument that a lot of people will have, you know.
Ali najveće iznenađenje bio je susret s gospođom koja je urednica lokalnog lista u Borviku. Prvo ona traži intervju od mene kako bi se znalo da je njezin gradić privukao ekipu jedne evropske televizije, a nakon toga odgovara na moja pitanja.
Well, you're a journalist, but at home what do you do?
Well, at home it's a different story. We live on a farm and I've had to learn quite a lot. I'm a city girl originally. I grew up in Sydney and then lived in Brisbane, and we've lived here for 2 years. I've had to learn how to deliver baby lambs from sheep, how to treat cattle for eye infections, how to look after a 100-year-old house, which in Australia is quite old actually, because Australia's only 200 years old anyway.
And do you feel embarrassed when you touch these cows, when you cure these cows? Do you hate them?
No, I wouldn't say that at all. I would say what it does is it grounds you. So you can be in your job in front of a computer all day talking to people who are executives or you know, high flyers who do amazing things. And then you can go home and you can have a complete change of scenery. So it's just a really lovely mixture in terms of your life.
But being a journalist is something socially very acceptable. And working in a farm with cows and sheep, this is a low job.
Not around here it isn't.
How?
No. Well, because practically everyone you meet and come across has got some sort of farming connection. This is a big area of food production in Australia. The Darling Downs area is a very strong old volcanic area. The ground is very, very fertile, and there's a lot of farming and agricultural activity in this area.
Ali sada sam ja uvjeren da ovoliko rada na dvije fronte ne može osigurati ni minimum odmora. I pitam farmera.
So you employ people here on the farm, or you do it with your family?
No, just us, my wife, myself and our daughter.
Okay, so you do 11 hectares, you have some plants, you grow some vegetables, you have cows and sheep, and you work full-time, is it?
That's correct. I've got a full-time job in town as well.
Why are you then smiling? I mean, you are overworked.
No, it's good fun. We chose this lifestyle. We moved up here from the city because we wanted to change from the city lifestyle to the country lifestyle, and it means you get up early in the morning and you go to bed late at night working around the farm, but that's okay. We really like it. We enjoy doing it.
But then you are an Australian exception, because all Australians adore to travel, so you cannot move. Because of your cattle, you are always tied, a slave of this farm and the job that you have?
No, we have very good neighbours. All in the country, the neighbours all look after one another. So, for example, if we want to go away for a week or two, the neighbours across the road and down the road will come every day and make sure that all the animals are fed and that they're all right.
The neighbours are helping you with the animals. You can travel for tourism and the neighbours will do the job?
That's correct. And we help them when they're away.
They're not happy when your cow dies?
We've only, in the last 18 months, we've only had one die, so we've done all right.
Are the neighbours happy then?
No, nobody's happy when a steer dies. Nobody.
I u Sydniju srećemo čovjeka koji gradi popola s partnerom nevjerojatnih 400.000 četvornih metara poslovnog prostora. Shopping centra vrijednosti $500 milijarde.
Kolika je cijena najskupljeg četvornog metra u Sydney, ovaj koji gleda na Darling Harbour, koji ima pogled na 30. katu, vrhunski stan? Koliko bi bio četvorni metar kad ga vi prodajete?
Evo, znam slučaj, momentalno se prodaje stan od 130 kvadrata, 100 metara od Opera House, pogledom na najljepšu hubu na svijetu, pita 8 milijuna za njega.
138 milijuna, to znači $60,000 četvorni metar.
No limit, kažu on.
Iz vašeg iskustva, koji to treba biti Australac? Kakvog profila da bi tu kupio stan i platio $60,000 četvorni metar?
Pa biznismeni, evo ja znam slučaj ko žive u tom stanu. Žive najbolji radio komentator, on ga iznajmljiva. On nije vlasnik. Ja znam čak i ko je vlasnik, a ne bih želio reći i vi znate ko je vlasnik, a ću vam kazati privatno poslije. Ne bi htio čovjeka...
Nije neki naših korijena.
Je, naš, baš naš.
Tako, taj stan od $8 milijuna.
Ali je on to kupio, ja znam kad tu stan popravljani, širjeni i rađeni, on je to kupio možda za $700-800 tisuća.
Ovako govori hrvatski miljunaš prve generacije u Australiji. koji se pošteno naradio i stekao za praunuke. Sad ćemo njegova sina pitati kao da ga pita netko domovinskog mentaliteta.
Probamo dobiti to još 2%, ako možemo dobiti polovicu od toga i još investirati novac u ovo sistem što radimo ovdje od Peri iz Njemačku i idemo dalje. Ja gledam još raditi ovo za 20-30 godina moj život.
Dobro.
Moj otac je počeo ovo prije 30 godina kad je došao ovdje u Australiju i ja bi još i dalje vodio to.
To je lijepo, ali pazite, vi ste rođeni u Australiji, vi ste druga generacija. Zašto biste vi, kad već imate 50-60 milijuna dolara, nastavili raditi? Nosili tu kacigu i na ovoj vrućini umirali od posla?
Slušaj, nije to, kako bi rekao, nije to nekada veliki zarad. Zavisi na koje nekad zaradiš, nekad izgubiš. To te tako ide na ovo poslove u životu.
Dobro, ali vi imate dovoljno i za namiriti vašega sina i vašu djecu.
Moj sin će eventualno, on će isto doći u kompaniju, firmu i vode i dalje.
Ma ne razumijete me. Zašto bi vi nosili kacigu i ovdje se zamarali?
Ja neću, otac će još za 2 godine, on će ići u mirovinu, onda će ja voditi to dalje.
Ali onda će vaš sin morati nositi kacigu i biti na vrućini i tako je. Zašto bi to radili?
Zašto ne?
Sad pogledajte ovaj hotel s 5 zvjezdica u Canberri. 100% u vlasništvu jednog Hrvata, a još ima 2 hotela s 4 zvjezdice, pa apartmansko naselje i puno toga. Ivan Domazet, da čujemo što je njegova poslovna filozofija.
Kroz samo ovaj posao koji sam ovdje u Canberri radi, rećemo počeo sa ništa i gdje danas smo mi došli da smo jedna najjača građevinska firma u Canberri i što se tiče hotelijerstva, najjači smo u Canberri. Ali moje zaključenje je bilo jedno kad sam moj biznis počeo razvijati, da sve te investicije i svi ti biznisi u koje smo ušli, da ništa to neće biti vrijedno ako djecu ne postavi na prave noge, a to je bilo da se školuju. Pošto sam računao kod cijeli moje investicija koje ima, da su mi djeca još jača investicija nego to.
I svo 4 je završilo fakultet. Da. Ali čega se boji Ivan Domazet više od rada, konkurencije i globalne krize? Ovdje preko puta hotela je zemljište koje je podobno za novi poslovni centar, vrijednosti $500 milijarde. Ali ekolozi su zabranili svaku gradnju jer su tu staništa rijetkih guštera. Onda Ivan rekao sinu Juri, sjeci travu što niže da beštije ne stignu do hotela. A sin Jure o biznisu lakše govori na engleskom.
All right, Jure, you run a huge company. You are married with a wonderful wife, you have 3 wonderful kids, everyone is healthy, everyone is good looking, you are good looking, you are graduated from 2 universities. Few months ago you made the business with $100 million profit. Okay, what's next?
Just keep enjoying life. I guess the thing with me is the way I was raised by Ivan was there's a very strong work ethic, and it was never a case of being happy with what you've got or being, I suppose, lazy or satisfied. You always want to do a little bit more and keep working a little bit more.
What's more? It's money or social recognition?
Oh, it's probably more... It's not so much the money, it's more the enjoying work. I mean, the work that I do is very interesting. We do a lot of different things, from hotels to office buildings to apartments to actually running businesses like restaurants and bars. So there's never a dull day, and you're never doing the same thing over and over again. So you tend to forget how much money you're making and more about how well is each business running. And it's enjoyable running a business and seeing how the business actually develops from day to day and how it performs from year to year. So it's more about the enjoyment of running businesses than it is about making the money. Making the money just is what happens in the end if you run the business well.
U Australiji na svakom koraku iznenađenje suvremenoga tipa. Ovo nije motel, ovo je umjetnička instalacija. Evo idem prema Muzeju suvremene umjetnosti. Izložba se zove Optimizam, hodam po stazi za slijepe i slabovidne osobe, ima takvih u Hrvatskoj, mislim jedna je već u Draškovićevu u Zagrebu i ja sve više spadam u slabovidne osobe, a i zamijenio sam one moje legendarne sandale koje su putovale po svijetu, osuvremenio sam se pa imam kroksice. Ali ovdje ćemo vidjeti doista vrijednih i zanimljivih eksponata.
We have wonderful artists in Australia. And when we set about doing this exhibition with quite a short preparation time, I was asked, will we be able to find enough really good artists to be in a show about optimism? And so being an optimistic person, I said, no problem. We can easily find the artists. And the response from the Australian artists to the exhibition and to the possibility of showing together was absolutely magnificent. I often was in a situation where I would go to the artists and say, we are wanting to explore the idea of optimism. How do you think your work might relate to that idea? What can we talk about? How can we interpret it? What can we do together?
Well, in an environment like in Australia, where most people are optimistic, that was not hard to achieve, no?
Well, you know, it was an interesting year, 2008. And 2009 is a very, very different one. We started in 2007 in the very end. And one of the things that was happening was we were expecting a change of government because there was an Australian federal election. It had been a long period under Conservative government. We thought there might be a change. Some of us were hoping for a change. Then, of course, the American election was coming. So there was a lot of discussion about the potential for change in attitudes. This country has been involved in the war in Iraq, has been involved in very, very important discussions about the future of the environment. A lot of really crucial issues are on the agenda. So we feel as though the country is young and vibrant. It's got so much potential. Nevertheless, how can you deal with these serious questions and still keep your spirit going? What is it that you have to do if you want to remain optimistic?
Well, I can imagine, go surfing.
That just makes you happy. There is a difference. I'm sure it's fantastic for the serotonin levels. But in fact, when we had conversations about the show, one of the things that we said to ourselves is, optimism is not just about being cheerful. Optimism is more like a set of ethical understandings. Maybe we have to take seriously the ideas put forward in the 18th century and think about how some of the ideas about the best of all possible worlds have become in a way like a secular belief.
Ako su umjetnici aboriđeni stari 40.000 godina, došli su i u suvremeno vrijeme. Evo, ovo je jedan aboriđenski video. Predstavlja posjetitelja muzeja sa veoma osobnim obiteljskim ritualima. Ovdje vidimo oca i sina u nečemu što bi se zvala ceremonija dočeka. Govore na jeziku Bidžara, okrenuti se jedni prema drugome i stalno ponavljaju iste riječi i iste pokrete. Dakle, otac kaže uvijek ne gulpa vuru gandu, a sin odgovara vuru bunu. Ako ništa, na taj način se nauči nešto od tog jednog od desetina jezika aboriđina na jeziku Bidžara. Zapamtit ćete zauvijek ne gulpa vuru gandu i vuru bunu. You didn't mention Charles Billicha. In Croatia, we know him as a very successful Australian artist.
Oh, well, Charles Billicha is very well known and very successful. But working as I do in a contemporary art museum, I'm looking to younger artists, I'm looking to more avant-garde art. I guess I'm thinking of Charles Billicha's work as something that appeals to very broad audiences. But here I'm interested in the newest work. I'm interested in the most critical work which is interrogative, work which really addresses the current way that Australian culture is going. It's a very broad field and there's room for everyone.
Premda nije izlagao u ovome muzeju u Brisbaneu, slikar hrvatskog podrijetla Charles Billicha dobro je poznat Australcima. Velebna galerija na vrhunskoj adresi u Sidniju svjedoči kako se od slikarstva može dobro živjeti, a Charles Billicha rado potvrđuje da on, za razliku od mnogih, nema financijskih briga.
Gospodine Billicha, ovo je jedna od najnovijih slika.
Je, ona je u ciklusu tih interijera. U stvari moglo bi se čak nazvat trompe-l'œil. Uđeš u sliku, mjesto da ju gledaš, u stvari ulaziš u sliku.
Vara oko, je li tako, tromboju?
Oko. Baš sada radim na jednoj slici koja se tiče isto baleta za Monte Carlo, za muzej baleta u Monte Carlo koji se otvara ove godine. Polako radim, ne ono grozno často kao prije, imaju zato razloga, ali više vremena trošim na jednu pojedinu sliku nego prije. Imam sada jednu veliku arhivu slika i ne treba mi da radim toliko naporno i uporno kao što sam prije radio. I više sam u fazi obzervacije sada, pregledanja i razmišljavanja i malo pisanja i tako dalje.
Is English easier for you or you are just in between Croatian and English?
Pa ja govorim neki 10 jezika, pa mi je više manje svejedno. To ide u Hrvatsku, ili tako? Onda ostanemo pri hrvatski. Ali ako ćete internacionalno?
U Hrvatskoj postoji neko financijsko pomaganje umjetnosti i slikarima, plaćaju im se izložbe, daju se neki novci, ali ne baš da ima državnih slikara, to nema. Kako je u Australiji?
U Australiji nema uopće toga, bilo je tu nekih pokušaja da se subvencioniraju umjetnici, međutim bilo je puno oporbe oko toga jer se smatra da onda bi država mogla upotrebljavati kulturu za izvjesnu propagandu. Tako da taj pojam, recimo kao što postoji u Hrvatskoj, struke takozvane, ne postoji. Međutim, ima raznih etablismana i ovdje, kao svugdje. I to je meni smiješna riječ, establishment. Jer neko misli da je u nekom establishmentu i onda nakon izvjesno je razočaran jer vidi da ima ih toliko. Ja se više naslonjavam na svoje pratioce, svoje sponzore. Imam tu i neke monarhije koje me prate, kralja Tonge, George V, George V, Tupu je isto jedan moj patron, tako rekuć. Sad ću raditi sa princem Albertom u Monte Carlu. I dobio sam neku naredbu da radim i sliku kralja Španske.
Juana Carlos.
Juan Carlos, that's it.
Stalno sam razmišljao neću li previše pohvaliti Australiju, pa bolja je kvaliteta života u francuskoj Provansi, što reći u Italiji koja 1000 godina živi u gradovima, socijalno besprekornoj Skandinaviji. A ova Australija s kratkom povješću koja izlaže podmornicu 200 km daleko od mora, koja se poput Amerikanaca igra s dinosaurima, koja pokazuje stare alate kao muzejske eksponate i time mami turiste dok pola svijeta još time radi, što je ona?
So, a lot of 21st century things and a lot of 19th century things. What's the idea?
We collect a lot of farm implements. Most of these farm implements date back to the early 1900s. A lot of them come from England, a lot of them come from Germany, and they've all made their way to Australia to make life a little bit easier here.
And when did the electricity came to this place, let's say?
58 years ago.
So in 1951?
Yes, yes.
And before, you used this?
Yeah.
Would I feel something if I touch it?
Yeah, you want to hang on?
Yeah. So, I'll release it immediately. Nothing?
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 That might be the earth, those ones. Maybe that's the earth side of it.
Međutim, Australija je odlična, jer je sve posloženo, a nije komplicirano. Ne treba vam ovdje 1000 filozofa, ideologa, političara i povijesno-vjerskih knjiga da biste znali što je ispravno, a što nije. Djeca to ovdje znaju od malih nogu. Nose se uniforme da ne bi bilo vidljivih socijalnih razlika. A I svaka škola ima svoju uniformu, pa dijete koje markira u školsko vrijeme može prijaviti svaki svjesni građan. I djeca to znaju. Kao što znaju da je prepisivanje grijeh onoga ko prepisuje.
All right. So you want to be on television?
Yeah.
Okay. You go to school, every one of you?
Yes.
Yeah, all right. Who is the best student?
Me. Oh, definitely not us.
Right. That's a very positive approach. Well, is it all right to go to school?
Yes, it's not bad. It's okay.
Okay, I have a question. If, let's say, you are an excellent student, and he's your classmate, and he doesn't know how to answer the test, and he wants to see illegally how you are solving the problems, and he wants to copy your answers, what do you do?
Tell him not to. Stop.
You allow him to do that?
No.
No? You're not a traitor. That's not fair. You're an egoist. Huh? But basically you don't allow him, no?
No.
And would you copy ever?
No. Yeah.
Yeah? You would?
Yeah, if I'm having trouble with the question. No.
Would you?
No. Nope.
Never?
No, sir. Depends what.
And you will get a bad mark and you have the opportunity to copy. Will you ever anyway try?
No.
So it's better to be honest with bad marks than dishonest with good marks.
Yes.
Ako se ovo nije činilo dovoljno uvjerljivim, poslušajte intervju s djevojčicom od nepunih 12 godina iz Brisbanea koja živi u suvremenoj obitelji. Otac koji radi u Ministarstvu za vode skuhao je večeru za djecu dok je majka otišla na fitness. Ali suvremeno ne znači i neodgojeno.
Understand you go to school with 68 nationalities.
Yes. Yeah, we have lots of them are Greek, most of them are Greek, and then we have lots of Vietnamese people and lots of Chinese people.
How do you recognize the Greeks?
They have a lot of hand movements and they speak very loudly, and they normally make it very clear that they're Greek.
Do you recognize their last names like Papadopoulos, this kind of thing?
Yeah, most of them I do, but some of them aren't married to Greek men, so we don't have any Greek men teachers at our school, but we have lots of women, and lots of them aren't married to Greek men, so their last names change, which don't sound very Greek.
You learn Greek as well?
Yes, I went to a Greek childcare centre, and I went to Greek preschool, and now I go to a school that's surrounded with lots of Greek kids. So Mum thought that it would be good that I learn Greek as well.
Do your kids sometimes say for the other guy, he's a Vietnamese or he's a Chinese? Do you say that?
No, I don't. No, not normally. No.
It wouldn't be correct, you think?
Yeah, it wouldn't be nice to single people out like that. Yeah, I wouldn't feel right telling people that they're different to everyone else.
Okay, you're Australian, that's number one. But then when you look back, your parents, your grandparents, what do you think you are?
Well, everyone's got a very big mix. Lots that I know is that my mum's born in Scotland, and I've got a bit of Italian, I think. So, but I'm mainly Australian. Yeah, and my dad was born in Australia, but my mum was born in Scotland.
And if you're a good student at school, is everyone admiring you or they are jealous?
Well, there are lots of people to compete against, I guess. I wouldn't say that I'm one of the best students there, but I don't think that I'm one of the worst students there. So I wouldn't say that people are jealous, but I wouldn't say that people admire me.
If you have good marks, if you are excellent at school, so are your classmates happy because of that? Or they say, well, she's learning all the time, she's not playing with us?
Oh, lots of them say that it's good for me, but I have one friend particularly who's very good at lots of things, and we normally say that she's getting everything right and stuff. So it's normally not me, it's normally my friends.
Okay, besides school, what do you learn extra, or what sport do you practice?
I play my flute out of school as well, and I do swimming out of school as well, and I also do rock climbing sometimes out of school.
Rock climbing?
Yeah. Well, I do indoor rock climbing, mostly on Saturday mornings, and there are little holes that you climb up, and sometimes, a couple of times, I've done it on actual rocks, climbing up a cliff with my mum's friend from work, but they're very scary when you climb up cliffs.
Do you know already what you want to become?
I'm thinking that I want to become an architect, but no, not 100% sure yet. But my mum's an architect as well, and I want to be able to design my own house and everything.
Do you expect your parents, when you graduate from high school, when you're 17, 18, that they buy you a car?
Well, I hope that I will have a job by then, and I will think that they will pitch in a bit of money, but I hope that I can support myself to get at least a good car.
I know it's not discreet, but at what age girls like you're at 12, start thinking about the boys?
Well, lots of my friends start thinking about boys last year in grade 6, but lots of my friends just want to play sport, so lots of them think about boys when they're older, but I would probably start thinking about boys in grade 8 or 9.
And there's nasty things like alcohol, drugs, smoking. Do you have cases in your class that somebody's smoking cigarettes or drinking?
No, I don't. And me and my friends have all swore to each other that we're never going to smoke or drink alcohol. Well, drink alcohol, yes, a bit. But we're never going to smoke or do drugs or anything like that because it's just not right.
How did you do that? You swore you have a company and...
Well, no, but I'm hoping to be friends with my friends right now for a very long time. And I hope that... when I get older, they'll be able to remind me that I don't want to do those sort of things because I know what damage it causes to people now and I don't want that to happen to me.
Okay, what's your favorite food?
My favorite food would have to be chocolate or pizza. I love them.
Vjera u sebe, ali i odgovornost počinju od djetinjstva. Kad je nastala globalna kriza, Australci su reagirali osjetljivo. Umjesto sanacije banaka koje su pohlepom potopile cijeli svijet, vlada je podijelila po $1.500 keša obiteljima s $50,000 godišnjih prihoda i po $1.000 onima između 50 i 100.000. Ako imate problema s otplatom kredita, nastavite uredno plaćati kako banke, koje su većinom australske, ne bi upale u problem. I dodat ćemo još. Ako možete plaćati rate, onda potrošite taj novac i potaknite domaću proizvodnju.
Banks provide finance for multiple purposes. Banks provide finance to businesses to help them grow, to invest in their business, to acquire machinery and staff, etc. And that's quite a valid business purpose. In addition, banks provide consumer credit to individuals who might want to buy a new luxury car or who might want to go for a holiday. And that's quite acceptable as well.
You think Australia is the country with the best life in the world?
I'm a little bit biased, though all my family live in Ireland and some live in America. Having been to both places, and they are beautiful countries. And there are terrific countries all over the world. I think Australia is a good place at this point in time. Always has been a good place, and I think it's a very good place at this point of the cycle that the global economy is in.
Ovo je Brisbane i vizura je slična kao u najvećim australskim gradovima, Melbourneu i Sydneyu. Nešto nebodera, rijeka ili kanal koji prolaze kroz grad, mješavina staroga i novoga, a kad prođete ulicama osjetite kako je ovdje ugodno živjeti. Ali meni je vodič stara dobra prijateljica, bivša gradonačelnica Selina Atkinson, pa smo krenuli od zgrade gdje je 8 godina uredovala, od gradske vijećnice.
So this is the city of Brisbane's flag, which we fly. It has lots of symbols. For example, the waves, the sea, or perhaps the river, but water. The first governor, Brisbane was named after Governor Brisbane from England, of course. He was a Scot. He was very interested in the stars. He was an astronomer. So the stars are there for him. This knot is called a Staffordshire knot because Governor Brisbane was in charge of the Staffordshire Regiment. And this knot, actually, is the knot they used to use to hang highwaymen in Britain, hang people in those two things and pull it tight. That's a sort of that's the medical symbol.
So the symbol of hanging is on the flag.
No. Well, Brisbane was a convict colony.
Od velikog guvernera Brisbane-a, Lorda Brisbane-a, ostao je ovaj portret, diplome, ploča i ova vrata od njegove rezidencije. Pa ne baš i puno, ali možda i zasluženo jer je povješao toliko ljudi. U Brisbaneu nismo viđali hrvatske klubove, nismo previše sretali Hrvate, premda ih ima. Na par dana smo se osjetili Australcima i prihvatili čak slušati priču o njihovoj ratnoj povijesti. And there is that war memory, this building.
Yes, a very important building in the Second World War because it's where General MacArthur had his headquarters. I know that lots of places, General MacArthur was in lots of places, in the Philippines, in Melbourne, but this was the headquarters for World War II, and there's now a museum upstairs all about the history of that time. It was a very interesting time in Brisbane because the American forces were here. The black Americans were not allowed in the city.
How?
They had to stay across the river. They were segregated. They had to stay on the other side of the river where the art.
They could fight and die, and they were not allowed in the city.
They were not allowed in the city. And for many, many years, that was kept very secret. But in recent years, there's been a book written on the Battle of Brisbane, and that battle was when one of the black soldiers came across the river, and this huge battle erupted between the Americans and the Australians. The Australian soldiers were very jealous of the Americans because the Americans had lots of money. There used to be the saying about the Americans, overpaid, oversexed, and over here. And all the girls, lots of Australian girls married American soldiers and went back.
Danas te diskriminacije više nema, svi su ovdje prihvaćeni, premda ste u boljoj početnoj poziciji ako ste anglosaksonac treće generacije, nego Azijat koji je tek stigao u Australiju. Gledam ovu lijepu djevojku, izgleda kao Nikita, i mislim, možda je Australka, ali ipak plete. Australke su vrijedne, ali ne pletu. Malo me sram prići i pitati. Pa ću ja nadalje sa Salijem.
Queensland became a state in 1859, broke away from New South Wales and became a state all by itself. There is a story that it was so poor that there was only a small amount of money in the Treasury. And behind me is the Treasury building, built a few years later and considered the finest Italianate Renaissance building in the Southern Hemisphere. And you can imagine that at that time when Brisbane was a very small town, that building must have just seemed enormous.
So but they did it for prestige.
They did it for prestige, and they showed the confidence, I think, in the future. And they knew then what kind of a city, what kind of a state that Brisbane and Queensland would be. And it's rather sad, of course, that now it's a casino.
Ma ipak moram doznati otkud je ona cura koja plete i dalje plete.
Sorry to disturb you. What are you doing?
I don't know what you call it in English. I'm Swedish, but some kind of knitting.
You must be Swedish.
I am Swedish.
So you never lose time.
Eh?
You never lose time.
No. I never lose time.
You always have to work something. You came here for holidays or to work?
Yeah, holidays. Yeah. Thank you.
U cijeloj Australiji nisam vidio ni jednog prosjaka, nisam sreo ni jednog žica, ali ima ljudi koji imaju probleme.
And what's your situation?
I'm an epileptic. I'm a sick man.
And you cannot work, of course.
No. That's why I like to help people out that are unemployed and homeless. I help them out by selling these magazines to the people.
But being epileptic, you get something from the state?
Oh, yeah, I get medication. I get all these medications. On about half a dozen different medications and stuff like that. But I can't hold down a full-time job because I'm in and out of hospital quite a lot. So I can't hold down a full-time job. So that's why I do this to the best of my ability.
How are you?
Very well, mate.
What are you selling?
Never heard of the big issue, mate?
No? Could you explain to us?
Yes. Sold by the homeless and the unemployed of this country, which we're still living in. And it's a great magazine. Started in London in 1997 and basically moved across to Scotland, then moved across to here the next year after that.
So the idea is to sell that and to fund the unemployed?
Yep, absolutely.
Viđao sam i mlade koji se bliže ekstremu, koji su spremni platiti $200 na sat za tetoviranje ili piercing.
Is it a normal thing to do this piercing?
Yeah.
Is it normal?
It's normal for me.
You have problems with your parents because of that?
Yeah.
How do you call this?
Sorry?
How do you call this?
Poncho.
Poncho.
Yeah, they gave them to us.
Transparent poncho.
Yeah, transparent poncho. This is the hen. This is Jodie Plum.
And where do you buy this stuff?
We didn't buy it. We were given them by the hen party organiser.
And what is that? The Miss Australia contest?
No, it's a hen party. Hen party, when you get married. She's getting married.
You're getting married?
Yeah.
I'm getting married.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Jodie Plum reporting over and out.
And it's your last day as a girl.
Yes, tomorrow I'm a man.
So what are we going to do today?
Today, get drunk.
Ali to je sve što smo vidjeli rubnoga u mjesec dana Australije. Svuda po svijetu postoje siromašne četvrti, mjesta okupljanja narkomana, pijanaca. U našim smo emisijama to prikazivali u Vancouveru, Los Angelesu, Majamiju, New Yorku, čak i u Švicarskoj. Samo u Australiji nema te slike. Nema propalih i besprizornih. Ne zato što ih kriju, nego baš zato što ih nema. Po suncu i po kiši ljudi su i za šetnju i za posao neformalno odjeveni. Ali ima iznimka, kao što je sin Salijen, mladi odvjetnik.
In Brisbane, if you wear a suit, you are either a lawyer or a banker, not necessarily a prime minister. You are a...
I'm a lawyer, Goran. I am a barrister, which means that I wear a suit in the street, but when I am in court, we have an English system in Australia, so I wear a wig made from horsehair, and I wear a jabot. I understand that's a French origin, and I wear a bar jacket and a gown. Whenever I appear before a judge, I must wear this outfit.
So this is it. Could you put that on your head? Should
Sure.
that be...
That's where I wear it. I wear it like that, and I wear this underneath, and I have a jacket on top. When we come into court, if the judge takes off his jacket, his wig, we must all take off our wigs. If he puts it back on, we must put it on. Normally the bald judges, they keep the wig on, and the hairy judges...
Isn't that deconcentrating because you are watching the judge all the time, what he's going to do with his wig?
Yes, I think it shows, they think it shows some respect. And I'm too young to question them.
Okay. You're a lawyer, so what are the revenues of the lawyers? How much do you charge for one appearance on court?
The very best lawyers in Australia, they might charge $12,000 a day. I charge, when I have a wealthy client, I charge $2,500 a day, and that's quite normal.
Kako je naša mala TV ekipa dobro organizirana, Jure snima po gradu, Charlie i ja idemo na ovaj veliki kotač, a Salijen nam priča o svome 2-milijunskome gradu.
So, to describe Brisbane, if you watch from the sky, what would you see?
A Japanese man once said it's like a large park dotted with houses because we have a lot of greenery. Brisbane was lucky because we were developed after Sydney and after Melbourne, so we were able to learn from the mistakes in other places. And we've always made sure we planted lots of trees and had lots of greenery because we have lots of wet weather and lots of sunshine, which makes things grow very well.
So what would be the places, the sites that you would focus on that are important?
You can see Parliament House to the right of where we are at the moment. It's a very old building, old for us, built in 1863, perhaps not old in Croatia, but by our standards, an old building and a grand building, and very close to where the colony was first settled in 1823, where the convicts came and where they planted gardens and trees and vegetables to feed the infant colony.
Kao gradonačelnicu Seljan sam upoznao kad se Brisbane 80. godina prošloga stoljeća kandidirao za ljetne olimpijske igre. Znamo da je jedna olimpijada bila u Melbourne-u 1956. i da je 2000. domaćin ljetnih igara bio Sydney, a Brisbane nije uspio.
Would you say that they've learned from your mistakes when you were a candidate for the Olympic Games? So you failed, and then Melbourne failed, and then Sydney came and said, we got the cake.
I think it was part of the natural progression. I think Brisbane did so well in our bid for the Games that Sydney and Melbourne said, we want to have a go too. Have a go is a very good Aussie thing to do. We always look down, the rest of Australia always looked down on Brisbane. We were a large country town. We weren't sophisticated like Sydney and Melbourne. And that's why I love it when visitors come to our art gallery and our cultural centres, because we think that we're far ahead of Sydney and Melbourne in what we have here in the art gallery, the museum and the performing arts centre.
Bavljenje sportom to je u Australiji više od hobija. To je način života. Sreli smo jednog surfera s padobranom koji će se natjecati i nakon što napuni 70 godina. A tek smo na kraju razgovora shvatili da je rođen u Hrvatskoj.
It's a kite surfing, so we do have a board which is a similar, you can use a surfboard or a similar like a behind a wakeboard, and the wind is your power, and with the wind and the power and your kite, that's your manipulating your going through the waves, the wave riding, jumping, turning, and all sorts of things.
How do you compete? How do you know who is the best?
Well, you can see the guy who is doing a lot of good things. He's very confident. He does a good jumps. Landing is important, not just going up, going down and land and take away. And you can see the one who's a solid, who's riding the waves well, and you've got the guys who's always falling off and doing nothing and disappearing somewhere downwind. That's, he's not that good, or he's novice. Not maybe he will be good one day, but he's novice, so he learns. It takes a bit of a learning. It's easy sport, but that goes through 1, 2, 3, 4 sort of kind of a school,
What happens if you see a shark? I'm a little bit paranoid. We don't have sharks in Croatia, but we are all scared, and you have plenty and you're not scared.
Yeah, we have sharks here. This beach here, the Gold Coast is pretty good with no sharks because it's a very sandy beach, as you can see it. It's a sand always, it's no rocks. So very rarely the shark will come onto the sand. So we got 30 or 40 kilometers south and north of beaches. So if you get the shark, you have to be very lucky. You got more sharks here on the land than in a water.
What do you mean more sharks on the land?
Like someone will maybe mug you or take your wallet or pinch your car or whatever.
No, don't say that there is crime in Australia.
It does happen, believe me, but no sharks really. My name is Dan Kochonda. Actually, I'm born in Zagreb and I live in Australia since 1968. I'm married to an Australian wife, have 2 children, and I've been to Croatia many, many times, and I'm going probably next summer too. So on the island of Ball, they do a lot of windsurfing, kite surfing, I know that, so I'll probably be there. Anyway, nice to see you guys, and good luck to everybody.
We call him the mayor. He's the mayor.
Just a second.
Yeah. So
how do you call him?
We call him, his name is Danny, but we call him DK for Danny Kochonda. And we call him the mayor of this beach. This beach is called Narranac. And we say the mayor of Narranac is DK.
Why for?
Because he has been here ever since, first before kite surfing, he was windsurfing here. And he's here every single day it's windy, he is here. And then if someone does the wrong thing, he says, you got to go. Or so he's the mayor and the policeman.
But he's a professional instructor?
No, he's a soul surfer. Soul surfer? He does it he competes against himself. Yeah.
Okay, but it's Monday. You don't work?
Yes, I do work. I work for myself. I have my own business. There's my vehicle here, actually, if you want to see it. So I'm in a sewing machine business. I do sewing machine sales and repairs, so I work for myself. I own my workshop, so whatever I miss today, I'll make up later on, tonight or whatever. So
you are the boss of your time.
Yeah, very flexible hours. Good life, important, you know.
Sport koji u Hrvatskoj nije uhvatio korijene, ali se priča kako se davno igralo nešto slično u Hercegovini i Dalmatinskoj Zagori, je kriket. Hajmo čuti nešto o toj igri za kojom Australci luduju.
So, the rules of cricket, basically.
Well, basically the rules of cricket is you bowl the ball, there's 6 balls over, and you got to get the bloke out.
And you run for the bases like in baseball?
Yeah, if you hit the ball, you can run from wicket to wicket, and that's 1 run. If you run 2, that's 2 runs. If you hit the boundary, it's 4 runs. If you hit over the boundary on the full, it's 6 runs.
How come that some teams are playing 5 days in a row without winner?
Well, that's called a draw, and it still consists of good cricket. And things that happen in 5 days can be still good cricket even though there's no result. We can sit there and watch a game for 5 days if it's the Ashes series and enjoy it. Because someone could get 100, someone could get 5, there could be a classic catch. Doesn't have to necessarily be a draw.
Are cricket players the most famous in Australia, or soccer players, or Australian football players?
Probably cricket players, national. Probably equal with maybe rugby league players.
Još smo probali nešto naučiti o australskom nogometu, koji je drugčiji od američkog.
So, Jack, the American football is really football with hands. It's a handball, while your Australian is how?
Well, it's a bit of everything. It's you kick the ball, you catch the ball. You're not allowed to throw the ball, but so what you do, you do a handball. With a clenched fist, we punch the ball to our same team.
The idea is to score over there.
Yeah, one team kicks one way, one team kicks the other way. The object is to kick the ball through the big sticks. It'll be 6 points to your team, and the ball goes back to the middle. If you miss it, it goes on either side. It's 1 point, or if it hits a point, it's 1 point, and it's a kick in from 10 metres outside the square.
And if you miss all the 3 goals, it's nothing.
It's out of bounds. If the ball goes, there's a boundary line that marks right around it. If the ball goes over the line, then it's a free kick to the opposition.
So the player basically kicks the ball with his foot, and the other player from his team is trying to catch that ball.
That's right. The ball must travel more than 15 metres, and if he catches it uncontested where no one else touches the ball, it's his mark. We call it a mark, or it's called a catch, but we call it a mark. And then someone will, wherever he catches the ball, the opposition player is allowed to stand directly where he's caught it, and he can move back.
So the opposite players let him catch the ball. The moment
they're trying to catch the ball as well, or they're trying to spoil him.
The umpire has a lot of decisions to make. I mean, the ball must pass at least 15 meters. How can we know if it's 14 or 15 or 15 and a half?
Well, you get used to learn. You know, the ground is marked, so you can work out the distance. So then they train for that. So if it's 15 metres, like there's a lot of grey areas in our game, they say sometimes. But you know, rule of thumb is sometimes that they'll more likely they'll get it right. So
they obey the umpire no matter. I mean, I think that it was only 14 meters, and they complain. Do they complain?
If they do, and if they're out of line, they'll get marched 50 metres penalty. So zip it.
The state, is it helping financially sports, or you do it through private donations, through marketing?
You know, enormous help from the government. The federal government provides hundreds of millions of dollars to sport, to high-performance sport, primarily. Then each state government, and there are 8 states and territories in Australia, provides funding to both the elite level and the grassroots level. So there's an awful lot of government money in terms of development of sport, grassroots level and the elite level.
You have, let's say, a 16-year-old excellent tennis player, and his family hasn't got the money to afford his training, his development. What the state will do?
Oh, the state will provide money for coaching, for sports science, sports medicine, for travel, for competition, and also for living expenses.
An Olympic medalist, an Olympic gold medal winner,
What is he in Australia or she?
Hero, a role model, also has the capacity to generate some sponsorship for themselves, endorsements. But yes, I think a terrific role model for young Australian children.
Is it more important to be a gold medalist in swimming or an actress, an actor?
Very hard, very hard. I think for the country, I think the gold medalist in swimming inspires many young people to try and achieve or excel in sport. I think it's terrific to have nice, good actors and so on, but I wonder how many people they inspire to be actors. My perspective, I think sport, high performance achievers in sport, very important in providing role models for next generation.
A sad opet moja omiljena tema u Australiji, udobna starost i sjajan život umirovljenika. Ima i u Europi i u Americi bogatih starijih građana koji igraju golf. Ali u Australiji svi umirovljenici mogu igrati golf praktično za badava.
Are you a millionaire?
No, I'm just a pensioner.
You touch that social pension?
Yes, yes.
So you don't have enough money to be exempt from pension?
No. And I play every day.
How much does it cost you?
Well, I pay $2 a day, and I play the game for nothing after that. I pay $700 for the year, and then I go on the course any day I like for nothing.
For nothing? Now, today you are playing for nothing?
Nothing, yeah, nothing.
Why is that so? I mean, golf is the luxury of millionaires.
Well, poker machines help. Poker machines help at the club, but that's the way it is. Social clubs. Bowls is the same. You know, bowls, anybody can play.
And you have exclusive golf clubs closed with a membership of $1 million?
Not that much. You know, 20,000, 30,000, but that's in Gold Coast and expensive places. None around here. Yeah. Okay?
As a pensioner, you can live fine with your pension?
Yeah, easy. No problem. Thank you very much. I've got to go.
Hoćete li još o raju za umirovljenike? Sve komunalije plaćaju 50%. Vodu, struju, plin upola. Registraciju auta također. Osiguranje 50%. A imaju popust i u mnogim restoranima. Da čujem na to komentar katoličkog svećenika iz Geelonga.
Kako vi, velečasni, tumačite tu velikodušnost kad su u pitanju mirovine u Australiji?
Što se tiče velikodušnosti, ne bih baš rekao da je velikodušnost na djelu. Više je sebičnost na djelu. Otkad znam za sebe, svaka osoba, svaka obitelj, svaki narod misli za sebe. Jedino mi Hrvati smo najmanje mislili za sebe, jer su bile povijesne okolnosti da smo morali misliti na druge stvari, ne baš pravo na sebe. Ali ovi ljudi, ovi svijet, ove države slobodne, one očito gledaju samo svoj interes, samo svoju korist. Gledaju da bi što više ljudi došlo u njihovu zemlju i da bi njihovu zemlju izgrađivalo. Ne samo izgrađivalo, nego sutra branilo. Da ih netko susjedi napadnu, onda ovi novi došli ljudi su sposobni za obranu te zemlje. I zatim da bi je izgrađivalo. Ali da bi je izgrađivalo, ta država mora njima dobro plaću dati. Da bi ljudi došli iz svijeta, moraju čuti da je, sad govorimo o Australiji, Australija dobra zemlja, da se tu lijepo živi, da je tu rajski život. I kad ljudi začuju da je tu rajski život, svi dolaze.
U Australiji većina etničkih i sportskih klubova financira se od poker aparata i slot mašina. Ali tu postoji odgovorno kockanje. Dakle, ovdje su sva upozorenja. Prvo, da su vaši izgledi dobiti glavni zgoditak na mašini za igranje manja nego 1 u milijun. To se ponavlja 2 puta. Naravno, maloljetnici ne mogu. promovira se odgovorno kockanje, ne keširaju se čekovi, dakle ne može se uzeti novac na čekove, ne može se uzeti zajam i tako dalje, bezbroj upozorenja, a u slučaju da dolazite veoma često, mogu čak angažirati i psihologa, psihijatra da provjere jeste li ovisnik o kockanju. Dakle, kad vidite ova sva upozorenja, smuči vam se baciti par dolara na poker aparate.
Svratili smo i do obližnje džamije, islamskog centra Bosne i Hercegovine. Tu dolaze Bošnjaci, mnogi su izbjeglice, ratne žrtve, nekima su strahote koje su preživjeli još u sjećanju.
Kako se zovete?
Midhet Karadžić.
Kao Radovan Karadžić?
Nije kao on.
Pomislite na Radovana Karadžića. Vi koji ste bili u Omarskoj logoru, Manjači na logoru, sad kad ga vidite u Hagu, pravda ili ne?
Nema pravde. Pravde nema, on je trebao davno, ali niko ne može, onaj zločin koji je napraviti da pravda da se odgovara, to je mala stvar.
I onda veliki skok od 22 sata leta i vi u Australiji. Kako vam je ovdje?
Ovdje mi je dobro mi je, ovdje mi je fino. Radimo, živimo, djeca idu u školu, tako da fino se osjećamo. Jedino što je problem, daljina, ta 22 sata.
Imate li neka sjećanja koja vas, ono što se kaže PTSP, vuče, onaj posttraumatski stresni poremećaj, da sanjate, da se znojite, da imate teškoće, ili okolnost da ste ovdje pristojno živite dovoljno da se osjećate dobro?
Teškoća imam problema non stop. Uvijek se sni vraćaju, ona slika iz Omarske nikad ne može da izađe.
Ona bijela kuća čuvena u Omarskoj gdje su pretukli na stotine zatvorenika. Ste bili u toj bijeloj kući?
Bio sam tu 15 dana u toj bijeloj kući.
Tukli vas svaki dan?
Pa nis mene svaki dan, ali jesu to i sve druge. I onaj strah i one... Najviše mi imam jedan sjećaj koji nikad ne izlazi kad mi je komšija moj umro na mojim rukama. To nikad zaboraviti neće.
Sad ovdje živite, se ovdje priča o tome, o tim svim stvarima.
Pa pričamo mi, nikad mi to ne zaboravljam, uvijek mi pričam, kad se sastajemo, uvijek o tome, nije baš ali uvijek se nekad spomene da se to vraća se uvijek.
A ovo kad su se potukli Srbi i Bošnjaci na tenisu, na kojoj ste strani bili?
Gledao sam preko televizije, normalno bio na našoj strani.
Što mene zanima. Hrvati, jesu li bili uz Bošnjake ili su stajali po strani?
Ne znam, ovdje na tenisu nisam bio, ali vjerovatno bili sa nama.
Teško je u Australiji pobrojati sve konfesije koje je mogao predvidjeti da bi i Siki iz Indije mogli u nekom gradiću na posve drugom kontinentu postati većinu.
Okay, so could you tell us about this temple?
Well, this is a Sikh temple here, the first Sikh temple in Australia. The Sikh people that came out from Punjab, India, how many years ago was it?
Probably the first Sikhs came to Australia in the 1800s. This one was built in 69. This is the second phase of it. Like the first one was a small one. Small temple, but then as a community grew, then we had to build a bigger one.
Were you well accepted because you already had connections with the British?
Probably, yes. Yeah, I think all the elders that came here came under British passports. Yeah, as British citizens.
And after 300 years of English occupation, it's a good time for payback, isn't it?
That's right.
They took something, we take something.
Good, but I understand that in your religion, you always have to carry a knife. Is it true?
It's a ceremonial knife. It represents a symbol. It doesn't represent the knife itself
a weapon.
As a weapon. It is a symbol of a weapon, yes, but it's not a weapon.
But can you carry it in Australia?
Yes.
You do?
Yes, you do carry it in Australia.
It's part of the baptism. Only people who are baptised will carry that knife. It is part of the other four...
but what happens if you go in the plane?
Yes, you're allowed to wear it.
You're allowed to wear it.
Yes.
Here in Australia?
Here in Australia, you're allowed to wear it.
U Sidniju smo nazočili sastanku Komisije za multietničku suradnju, koja u ime države Novi Južni Vels strogo kontrolira svaku vrstu rasne, vjerske i nacionalne diskriminacije, a predsjednik je Armenac.
An Arab employs a Jewish and then discovers that the man is Jewish and fires him. What happens? Or a Serb hires a Croat, or a Turkish hires a Greek.
Well, if there is evidence to say that the person was fired because of their ethnicity, then that is against the law. If the person is already out of a job, then through the conciliation process, it is possible that the employer says, look, I'm sorry, I did not realize that, I apologize, you can start work tomorrow again, and I will pay you for the time you lost.
And that's how it happens generally.
It happens. Now, sometimes the employer says, no, I did not do that. That was not the reason why I did it, and we cannot then conciliate. Then that is then referred to a tribunal, and the tribunal may then find out that, you know, there was discrimination, can order the person to take the employer back, and the tribunal also has the ability to apportion penalties up to $100,000. So it might say to the employer, look, you caused damage to this person, so you have to pay this person an additional $60,000 in damages.
Uz Armenca u etničkoj komisiji su trenutačno Grci, Južnokorejci, Italijani, Kinezi, Židovi, ali se to mijenja svakih nekoliko godina. Sada je dopredsjednik Hrvat.
Kako se Hrvati uklapaju u ovu multietničnost? Žale li se oni nekad na diskriminaciju?
Pa starije generacije, prvi doseljenici jesu. Mladi, ne, oni se asimiriraju već u australski način života i čak zato i propadaju hrvatski klubovi i sve zato što se asimilirali u australski način življenja.
A da se napravi neka kombinacija australsko-hrvatskih klubova, pa da mladi već kad ima taj prostor, kad ima to skupocjeno zemljište, iskoriste pa da na taj način integriraju Australce u neke hrvatske priče.
Pa to smo i probali napraviti, i klubovi zajednički i sve, ali jednostavno to ne ide. Nažalost ne ide.
Još smo toga dana bili u velikoj ribarnici u Sidniju. Uvijek me fascinira kako uredno poslože stotine vrsta riba, pa sve izgledaju kao da su jutros stigle iz mora. A i jesu. Ovom ribarnicom, kažu, vladaju Grci, a ja sam sreo Grke s Cipra.
So what do you have on this fish market?
What do we have? We have plenty of fish. Oysters, prawns, anything comes from the ocean we have.
You catch that, your company, or you buy?
The trawlers, fishermen. We retailers and wholesalers, fishermen catch it.
There are two possibilities. Can you buy directly from the ship without passing by the market?
If you are licensed like we are licensed, yes, you can. But you can't go and buy from the ship, or the restaurant can't buy from the ship.
So let's say if I have a friend who is the captain of the fisherman's ship, and I want a better piece of fish for my restaurant, can I go directly and buy from him?
No, you can get fined if you do that. If you're not licensed, you can be fined.
Oh, let's say just 2 small lobsters.
No, nothing.
1 kilo of red snapper.
If he gives it to you for present, yes, but he can't sell it to you.
The fines are, what, $50?
Oh, no, it's much more than that. It's some thousands of dollars, depending on your company. Thousands.
Okay. Could you tell me, I want to compare with my country, these oysters, how much do you sell them a piece?
It's by the dozen. We sell by the dozen. This is...
It's easy to calculate. So say the dozen.
It's about, by the dozen, 12 oysters, you're paying $10.90. It's about 90 cents each. Each oyster, 90 cents.
90 cents, that would be oko
3 kune, malo jače od 3 kune. Can I try one for 90 cents?
Yes, of course you can. Yeah.
Ja. Otprilike veličine kao one u Stonu. Ukus veoma slan. Baš se osjeti more. Pa kvaliteta vrlo slična stonskim kamenicama. A koštaju 3 kune. Ne znam kolike su cijene sada u Stonu, ali bile su znatno veće. What's other that is different from the Mediterranean, European practices in the fish industry?
We have more stringent rules here. There is more regulations on the health of the things. Everything has to be refrigerated. We have to check the temperature. Ice is very important. A lot of regulations for more safety for the people.
Here in Sydney Harbour, can you fish? There is plenty of fish.
Yeah, the harbour is closed for fishing, only for recreational, to protect species, and because they were worried that they're going to fish out all the estuaries for producing more species after.
But if you don't catch fish in the harbour, then the sharks come.
No, that's bullshit. That's rubbish. Always have sharks in the harbour. Always. We always had sharks in the harbour. Every summer the sharks come in.
Because there is fish.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter whether fisherman is there or not fisherman there, still there is fish.
So you think that the reason that sharks have beaten 2 people in the last 2 weeks is not connected with the fact that you have plenty of fish in the harbour?
No. It's warm water. They come in to feed. That's normal. Because the water outside was very cold in the ocean. But they don't talk about these things. Water temperature is important for sharks.
Is it exaggerated? Are these rules exaggerated? You have plenty of oceans to catch fish. Why would you protect the fish so much? I mean, we in the Mediterranean, we have a little space, few fish, and we don't protect so much.
How much fish you got left?
Few.
That's why you don't protect. It's no good. Soon you're going to have nothing.
Već se 3 dana vozimo cestom između Melbourne-a i Brisbane-a i kiša ne prestaje. Po novinama čitamo kako su državu Queensland zahvatile velike poplave, kako je stradalo na 1000 grla stoke krupnoga zuba, kako je jednog dječaka pojeo krokodil kad je probao spasti svoga psa. Onda su tu upozorenja: pazite na zmije, pazite na krokodile, ali automobilom se tim dijelovima nije moglo prići. Promet se zaustavljao i kad se na cestama pojavi obična barica koju mi doma ne bismo ni zamijetili. Zato se bavimo drugim australskim specifičnostima. Između australskih država nema onih tvrdih granica, nema provjere dokumenata, putovnica, ali uvijek postoji oznaka da ovdje počinje Novi Južni Wales, dok je tamo država Queensland. Jedina je razlika u vremenskoj zoni. Ovdje je sat više. Dakle, ovdje mi je sada 4:30, a ovdje sam na 3:30. Možete uvijek uštediti sat života. Zbog kiše mnogi rudnici ne rade. Australija je zemlja ogromnog rudnog bogatstva. Evo kako izgleda jedan površinski kop ugljena koji se u termoelektranama odmah pretvara u struju, a nepreglednim vlakovima višak odvozi u luke, pa u druga mjesta Australije ili se izvozi u azijske države. Međutim, ako se dovezete do mora, samo 100 km dalje, tu je stalno sunčano i toplo. Sad kad pogledate ovaj megapolis, surfing paradise, mogli biste nasjesti na našu domaću i uopće mediteransku priču o betonizaciji obale. Doista, tu su neboderi s apartmanima koji većinom služe za unajmljivanje turistima. Izgleda kao Miami, kao Acapulco, gore nego Lloret de Mar, izgrađenije od Mar del Plate ili Punta del Este. Ima lijepih plaža, parkova. Ali samo jedan ovakav grad na potezu od 1000 km oceanske obale. Tu dolaze mladi, ali umirovljenici željni uzbuđenja. Na ostalih 1000 kilometara obala je zaštićena i malo izgleda, gotovo nikakvih, da bi netko uzurpirao dio u samo more za vlastiti užitak. Turisti se provode, ugostitelji vrijedno rade. Gledamo jednog čovjeka kako čisti motelske sobe. Doznajemo da je vlasnik. Vlasnik pa radi, pa čisti sobe.
And you don't mind being the owner of the place and you work.
That's right, you have to work. That's the only way you make money.
U ovom dijelu Australije kao da nisu čuli da postoje krađe, prevare. Ostave vas u hotelu, nema žive duše. Vi sami izađete, sami ostavite ključ. Oni vam ovdje na povjerenje ostave boce vrhunskog širaza, sjajnog australskog vina. Evo ovdje frižidere, prepune hrane. Sami si napravite doručak, ali što je opasnije, tu je i linija za glazbu, ali sve je to na raspolaganju gostima i sad ću vam pokazati. Evo, bez da date, naime date vlastito ime, ali oni uopće ne provjeravaju putovnicu, mogu se napisati Dušan Jovanović i tako zavaliti recimo kolegu Slovenca, režisere iz Ljubljane, ali ovdje je sve, kuhinja slobodna. Kuhinski aparati, tamo sala za večeravanje, nevjerojatno. Sve su nam to prepustili. Ajmo vidjeti što ima za večeru. O da, o da. Mogli smo ponijeti za put na 2 dana. Dakle, apsolutno uvjerenje u poštenje. Evo i na odlasku nikakva preporuka. Zaključajte, ne zaključajte, ostavite otvoreno, ne ostavite. Mogli smo ovdje iz ove sobe 2 televizora uzeti, ali ništa. Evo, to ovako izgleda i možemo ostaviti otvoreno ili zatvoreno. Ključ nam nisu dali. Pomalo je romantično ovdje na drugom kraju svijeta vraćati se duboko u hrvatsku povijest. Do kralja Tomislava, kojega ovdje stilizirano zovu King Tom. Recite mi, je li tradicija da se predsjednik kluba Kralj Tomislav mora zvati Tomislav kao vi?
Nije tradicija. Tako ispalo slučajno da sam ja Tomislav i da nosim dužnost predsjednika Hrvatskog kluba Kralj Tomislav. To mi je izuzetna čast i zahvala sam i mojim roditeljima što su mi baš izabrali takvo ime. Kad bi se ponovo rodio, ako bi mogao birati, izabrao bi isto ime.
A kako ste djecu nazvali?
Imam sina, imam mu jedinko, nisam po svome ime, to po tradiciji od mog pokojnog oca. 2 kćerke, Daniela, žena je to tijela, i Ana u ime moje majke.
Kako se ovaj klub izdržava? Nabrojite sve izvore prihoda.
2 najveća izvora prihoda su poker mašine koje mi imamo u našem klubu i functioni koje održavamo u našem klubu. Functioni to su prigode koje mi u našem klubu održavamo, vjenčanja, sve te pričesti, krizme, zaruke i koje kakve druge obljetnice. Mi smo poznat klub po dobroj hrani. Veliki dio stranaca dođe, Australaca koji vole našu hranu i dođu zbog hrane.
So what do you say about Croatian food?
Oh, beautiful. That was great. That was beautiful food.
Could you describe what did you have for dinner?
I had lobster, seafood. I'm full. It's beautiful food.
And you drink beer with lobster?
Yeah, I drink beer with.
Puno je zanimljivih priča s Hrvatima i njihovim gostima. Otišli smo u jednu sidnejsku četvrt posnimiti homoseksualne parove jer im je ovdje baza. Nema ničega posebnog u odnosu na druge zemlje anglosaksonskog mentaliteta. Možda je pristup društvu i države ovdje za nijansu konzervativniji nego u Nizozemskoj, Engleskoj ili Americi, ali sve drugo isto. Trgovine su primjerene potražnji, stanovi su skuplji i ekskluzivniji, jer se pretpostavlja da je lakše proći mjesec 2 muške plaće. Ali za nas iznenađenje, kad prestane ta zanimljiva četvrt, evo restorana prepoznatljiva imena. Balkan. I drži ga Hrvat. Ranko Despot. Makarani.
Ovdje su tvrdi Hrvati, što se kaže, a vi imate restoran Balkan, jer se bune zbog toga.
Pa neki se bune, neki ne, ali već je to skoro 35 godina, onda to je normalna stvar da ime koje je već dugo godina bilo tu, da je teško promijeniti. Zbog Japanaca, zbog drugih ljudi, druge klijentele koja je tu dolazila godinama.
Vi ste izvozili ovce, točnije kurbane u Bosnu i Hercegovinu za Bajram. Što se dogodilo?
Pa da, to je bilo 95. godine. Negdje ugovor je sklopljen u 3. mjesecu, međutim malo smo kasnili pa su oni pomakli kurbane za jedan tjedan i tako, ali imao sam nezgodu, ovce sam dovodio iz zapadne Australije, iz Fremantela za Akabu u Jordanu i nažalost zbog lošega vremena u aprilu te godine, 95. godine, stvari su se kasnile malo, imao sam nezgodu da je putovanje koje je trebalo da bude 3,5 dana, da je trajalo 7,5 dana.
Pa su odgodili Bajram?
Da, za jedan tjedan.
Vraćamo se još na Hrvate i njihove zgode. Sad smo u jednom aboriđinskom muzeju. I vodič nas uvjerava kako je kravata nastala puno prije Hrvata.
What is this?
It's a tie for ceremony.
That's old.
For dance we must look good, so we wear the tie.
But you copy that from the Croati immigrants.
No, this is a woomera. This is a spear thrower. So we put the spear on here, and this is how we throw the spear. But it just looks like a tie.
Srećom, bile su tu prave, suvremene kravate sa aboriđinskim znakovima. Imali smo mi tu kraću raspravu jesu li Hrvati nastali prije aboriđina, jer ovi znakovi na kravati ne ostavljaju dvojbu. A koliko znam, aboriđini nisu znali pisati na latinici. Pustimo kravate, što je s bumerangom?
How does it work?
Well, basically the shape of the wings make a big difference to how it flies. If you change the shape here, it will fly differently. So this one will do a figure 8, out, around, and back. If it is a straight wing, then it will go up, around, and come straight back.
Okay, but why do you need a circle? Because if you catch the animal, of course, it will not return because the animal is dead. So why don't you have a much simpler form to try to reach it directly instead of making a circle?
The ducks fly in a circular formation. So the boomerang flies the same way. So it will trick them. So the ducks fly around, the boomerang flies with them, and then they fly into each other. If you hit the ducks, your boomerang won't come back. If you miss, it will come back and give you a second chance.
Finally, I have the explanation. And is it heavy?
Yes. This is a proper hunting one. This is a toy. Just to play with.
So kids, Aborigine kids, were training with the small ones?
The small one, until they become a hunter, then they use the big one.
Do you have any idea of how many hours you needed to get to know to be a good hunter? To train? Years, months?
Yeah, 15 years, 20 years to become a very good hunter.
But this is heavy. You needed to be strong.
Yes. If this comes back, run.
Because then you are a duck.
Yes. So do you know how to play? Have you played before?
No.
No? You have to go like this. Then you breathe in and out together at the same time. And then you keep your sound going.
The sound?
And the sound.
That's for music, but yes. Do they use that also as signals to transmit messages to each other?
No.
How did they transmit messages long distance?
Mobile telephone.
Today, yes.
And traditional
40,000 years ago?
Traditional times, we have a special instrument to use for communication. But that is not here, it's in the other side.
Ništa nije sramota probati I obrukat se. Znači... Nemojte se ljuti, poštovani gledatelji, ovaj zvuk nije baš neka glazba. And this is your painting?
This is my painting. This is called Celebration of Life. And this design here, when I perform, when I dance, this is my body paint. So I have all this design all over as my decoration. So this is my daughter with all of the decoration on. And every time we have a ceremony, if we dance, we tell stories. And when we tell stories, we also sing the story. So it's a very special part of everyday life, to sing, dance, and just have fun.
Could you just sing 2 verses of the song in Aboriginal? No.
I don't sing. Okay. I play the music.
But could you tell us more or less what's the message in the songs and in the tales?
They are stories about creation, about respecting what we have, about how the trees became what they are, about how we connect with each other. So it's all about everyday life, natural things that happen.
Do you have sad songs like The Woman Left Me, My Father and Mother Are Dead, My Brother Gone Away?
Yes. We have songs about everything.
And if you could say in percentages, how many are happy and how many are sad?
You would have more happy than sad.
So you believe in life as a happiness?
Yes.
So probably the English masters of this land would say, why are you then complaining?
Probably, yes. But it is. It's all about this. Celebration of life. We celebrate it.
What's your attitude towards death? Are you tremendously sad when somebody passes away, or you accept it as a fact of life?
Both. I'm very sad that person's not here anymore, but life is death, and it's a part of what we need to live with. We're born, we live, and then we pass away. Our spirituality, with our dream time, means that we can come back to this land again. We believe that when we pass away, we go into the dreaming and we come back to this land again.
But not always in a form of a human being.
No, in the form of an animal or something natural. My totem is a wedge-tailed eagle.
And you know in advance what animal you're going to become?
In this life, yes.
You know already what animal you will become?
My totem now is the wedge-tailed eagle. So when it's my time to pass away, I will go back to the dreaming and I'll come back here as a wedge-tailed eagle.
All right, so let me see. If I dream of becoming, what is this?
Emu.
A kiwi? No, it's an emu.
Emu.
Runs fast?
Yes.
Has enough food?
Yes.
Why not be an emu?
I like to fly, not run.
Are there some sacred animal that even if you are hungry, you wouldn't eat? Is, let's say, this koala something to be eaten?
No. The koala can make you very sick. It is very poisonous because they only eat eucalyptus leaves. So if a koala eats only eucalyptus, the poison goes into the body, and if we eat it, it will make us very sick.
And the eucalyptus is something like a drug?
It's a poison. Our eucalyptus trees. It is toxic if we drink it or we eat it.
And you have, let's say, tales or songs about the koala?
Yes. The koala is a drought maker. If we ever hurt the koala, if we ever kill them or hunt them, they will stop it raining. So that's it, no more rain, and we won't have any water.
Now, nobody is killing the koalas. They are protected, very protected, and still no rain.
10 years ago, we culled 1 million koalas. 10 years ago, 1 million koalas had to be culled to try and reduce the numbers. It stopped raining.
Kad su nakon aboriđina u Australiju došli Englezi, pa onda svi ostali, doveli su konje i počeli uzgajati šampione. Svi Australci znaju kako je gospodin Šantić, hrvatskih korijena, 3 puta osvojio najveći derbi sa svojim konjem. Nažalost, nismo ga sreli, ali smo vidjeli kako se ovdje konjima pobjednicima podižu spomenici. I doznali smo koliko Australaca godišnje sudjeluje na rodeu.
So in Australia, if you could say, how many riders on a rodeo you have approximately every year?
We have approximately 1,500 members, and they ride at a percentage of the 100 rodeos we run every year. Probably in a given year, probably 27,000 people would compete at a rodeo.
Do they have people my age competing, let's say, over 60?
Yeah, over the years there's been quite a few of the people competed that were over 60. We still have some, probably over 70. Most of them compete in the roping events. They don't ride the bulls anymore.
And these horses, how do you make them wild so that they kick the person?
A lot of the horses that are used in rodeo are bred for it, so they're ones that tend to buck anyway. We don't just get wild horses in and use them. And that's just what they do for their living. You know, they buck at the rodeo. Some of them last for 20-something years and they still buck. A lot of those horses you could take away from the rodeo and people could probably ride them. Well, a lot of them have been ridden before they go to the rodeo.
Okay, so the horse lasts for 20 years. It's well fed, it's trained, doesn't do anything else but the rodeo.
No, they don't do anything else but the rodeo. Pretty good life. If you took one to 20 rodeos and bucked him once, which would be unusual to go to 20, he would actually do about 2 minutes' work in a year.
2 minutes' work in a year and earns a lot of food.
Yeah, earns a lot of food. Earns people quite a bit of money.
Ležeran život, prepun zabave, sporta, glazbe i kulture, ne znači da ovdje ne vladaju strogi zakoni. Idemo mi u Sidni kod našega čoveka.
Evo nas ovdje, potrošački, trgovački sud i ona upozorenja suda po Australiji, nema hrane ili pića kad prođete ovu točku, mobilne telefone isključite za sva vremena, a sva saslušanja se digitalno snimaju. Dakle, kad pređemo ova vrata, slušaju nas. Netko mi je dužan 20.000 australskih dolara. Ja imam ugovor, a on mi neće platiti. Ja dođem kod vas na sud, za koliko ja to mogu naplatiti?
Na našem sudu uzeti će do 3 tjedna da vaš slučaj dođe po prvi puta pred sud.
Ništa vam to ne vrijedi, ja se razbolim, imam prijatelja Jozu, liječnika, on mi napiše potvrdu i ja ne dođem.
Vi pošaljete svoju potvrdu kod nas i tražite da se vaš rok odgodi.
I onda vi to na 6 mjeseci odgodite, ili ne?
No, mora doći ponovo pred sud u sljedeća 3 tjedna. Malo kada duže od toga roka.
I ja ne dođem opet.
Onda ćemo onaj koji vas tuži tražiti od nas da se napravi oda koja će reći da mi vama naredimo da sebi nađete zastupnika ili da stavite svoj slučaj na papir i da se na papire donese odluka.
I ja to ne napišem, recimo ne stignem.
Za sljedeća 3 tjedna mi ćemo napraviti odluku bez vas. Ako nemate jako iznimni slučaj za sljedeće odgođenje. I mi ćemo napraviti odluku na evidenciju od onoga koji traži od vas. To se kaže ex parte hearing. Da se vama plati $20,000 odmah.
Ja sad sam sretan, hoću mojih $20,000, ali taj kome je presuđeno da mi plati, ne plaća.
Vi onda otiđete i tražite default judgment, što znači da vi dobijete da se to vama mora odmah isplatiti i šerif, vi tražite šerifa i platite ga i šerif će u vaše ime otići kod vašega dužnika i u ime suda i pregledati vaše bank accounts, kod koga ste zaposleni i koju imovinu vi imate. I on će zaplijeniti gdje on misli da je najbrže dobiti sudsku naredbu od čovjeka koji je vama dužan.
Dobro, ali taj dužnik recimo brzo proda svoju kuću ili je prepiše na ženu. Što onda?
Ako ima kuću, vi ovdje možete staviti kajvijat na kuću. Znači, ne može ju prodati bez vas. Ako imate dobroga pravnika, on će odmah otići na sud ili na općinu i reći meni je ovaj čovjek dužan, ako prodaje kuću, mene će trebati isplatiti. To je prva stvar. Druga stvar, ako ste vi uspjeli prodati i on dozna da vi imate dogovor koji je shame sa svojom ženom, onda se može
Shame, to znači sramotni, jel?
Sramotni dogovor, jes. Sa svojom ženom, onda se može na drugome sudu tražiti da se od vaše žene traži da se taj novac prati do vaše žene ruku i da se vrati dužniku.
Znači, ne može taj pobjeći nikako?
Nikako je malo definitivno, ali jako ih malo može pobjeći ako imaju kakovo vlasništvo ili novac za uvijek.
Vino je u Australiji vrhunsko, a donijeli su ga ne Francuzi, ne Talijani, ne Hrvati, nego Njemci. A i Englezi se hvale vinarstvom, pa smo to otišli provjeriti u vinariji obitelji Gibson. Oni su protestanti iz obiteljske loze Mel Gibsona, koji je katolik. I tu smo vidjeli gdje se rađa velika opasnost za naše vinare. Ne Talijani, ne Francuzi, ne Kalifornija, nego Azijati, koji dolaze ovdje na tečajeve i sve informacije uredno zapisuju, pa kad 3 milijarde ljudi krene praviti vino po Aziji za $1 po litru, svi u Europi možemo zatvoriti dućan. Sreća je što Gibsoni prave brendi, pjenušac i vino pomješano s pčelinjim medom, a to ćemo mi teško probati uz odrezak. Osim možda odrezak od klokana, koji nam je pripremio naš Denis Valčić.
Jako je mekani i je aged, kako bi to rekao, ovo nije odmah ubijeno, nego je napravljen u onoj kesici bez raka, jeli, i onda je par tjedana aged da bi dobio još i veću mekoću.
Znači, pustilo se da odstoji.
Yes, kad bi ja znao te riječi.
Say in English, go ahead.
Yes, okay. All right, sada idemo tamo pa ćemo onda napraviti, ja sam napravio male filete tanke od klokana, jel tako? Pa ćemo ih opet pan fried. Ovaj puta ćemo imati jedan lijepi umak sa njima.
Imaju Australci maslinovo svoje ulje?
Otrag 15 godina među njima je i Hrvat Bradvica iz okolice Šibenika kupio farmu tih maslina i posadio. Ima u South Australiji nešto maslina, ali nije tlo. Lagano je, kao da je vegetable oil, a ne maslinovo. Nema one zemlje i oni poslije 12-15 godina hoće da imaju dobro maslinovo ulje. Ne može.
Sve Australija ima, samo ne može preseliti Mediteran
to je to. Ne samo to, nego mi imamo masline koje su stare 150 godina. A ne možeš ti, to je onda ono pravo ulje, je li tako? Klokan, isto kao i srnetina i sva divljač, mora se pržiti brzo, a malo. Onaj? I na vrućem ulju. Ok, što ćemo napraviti tako? Onda ćemo ga izvaditi i sve crveno meso mora da se resti, mora da se odmara. Onaj, nekoliko minuta. Pa ćemo ga odmoriti dok napravimo umak. Što više pečeš meso ovo od kengura ili srnetine, ona ide još i tvrđa, razumijel kako. Evo, sad ćemo ga odmoriti. Ok, dodat ćemo galik, još malo svježe galika, češnjaka, ili tako? Srno vino, Maja, što ti hoćeš? Crno vino.
Crno vino za bijele noći, bijelo vino za crne dane.
Da se ne upalimo ovdje, ali nećemo. Vatrogasci su blizu. To. Worcestershire sos. Tako. Worcestershire umak. Malo ćemo maslaca za gustoću. Sad ćemo staviti Madagaskar pepper. Alright.
Više koštaju ovi sastojci nego meso.
Nego meso. Ali u tome je cijela stvar. Gledajte kako je to beautiful umak.
Jel umaču Australci kruh ovako ko mi?
Da, točaju, jel točaju? Jel se reće točati? Je točati. Malice točemo. Kao što sam rekao, može malo riže, može malo pire. Evo, u ovom slučaju ćemo staviti malo paslija. Evo, beautiful kangaroo pan fry sa green pepper sauce.
Meso od klokana je prva liga, neka se ne ljute zaštitari životinja. Ali najjači ipak stejk od govedine, a najbolji stejk u Australiji, tvrde naši ljudi, peče u Melbourneu Vlado Grgurek. Zagrebčanin o jednostavnoj formuli. Djeca i žene mali odrezak, muškarci veliki, veliki muškarci najveći, od pola kile. A svima je cijena ista. Uz predjelo i čašu vina, $100 australskih, 50 eura. Gospodine Vlado, u Australiji ima dobrog mesa. Svi znaju peć meso. I opet kupuju recept od vas i licencu. Točno?
To je vrlo jednostavno. Ima mnogo vrsti mesa po kvalitete. Ista stvar kao drugi materijali. Ovaj steak će biti $85 kila. A ovaj tu 32. Naravno da je velika razlika u kvaliteti.
A što čini razliku u cijeni? Što znači kvaliteta?
Kvaliteta znači da ovi, govorimo samo o volovima koji su castrated, škopljeni volovi, od njih je meso najbolje, je velika razlika koliko se investira u toga vola. Da li je to hranjeno samo sa travom, znači na travi odraslo, i onda obično grass fed, kako se to kaže, steers, oni su najbolji između 2 godine i 2,5 godine da se ubiju.
A koliko imaju kila?
Pa ima oko 600 kila.
Na kraju serijala, nakon svega što smo ovdje doživjeli, odlazimo s osjećajem da je ovo zemlja koja se teško nešto može zamjeriti. A možda će ljudi koji ovdje dugo žive, koji su ovdje rođeni, naći i neke slabe točke. Could you tell me one thing, except the distance from the world, one thing that is bad in Australia?
One thing that's bad? No, I actually don't think there's much bad with Australia. I think you can do what you want to do when you want to do it. Work's probably the worst thing. Everybody's got to go to work, but everybody in the world's got to go to work. No, I don't think... Well, I'll put it this way. I wouldn't move anywhere else. I'd stay exactly where I am because you can. You're pretty free here. You can do what you want. And as going back to the Taiwanese boys, and I listen to their stories about Taiwan and that, and they're having a lot of fun over here. And they're working and they're having a lot of fun because they're free, you know what I mean? You can do whatever they like.
Something wrong in this country?
Goran, I can't think of something. You know, I've challenged myself many times to think of negatives here. I cannot think of one.
Why all Australians say that this is the best country in the world?
Well, I think our quick answer is because it is the best. But I think the reason why we say that is that it's such a nice, open environment, a very open society, a very lucky country in terms of its location. And I think, too, we're coming off a very strong English base and a very strong family base. And I think they give us the foundations to go forward. And again, I think, too, we've got a very good, strong support of government, which allows people to be entrepreneurial and to do what they need to do to look after themselves.
Traditional Protestant is making money, working hard, but at the same time being very modest and sparing money. Why are you so hedonist? They converted your Protestantism.
Well, to some extent that's true, but it's also, given the nature of the country itself, you become quite expansive. You become a bit more gregarious. We have a very open nature. We like to think of ourselves as the bronzed Aussies, live in the sunshine and work hard, play hard, and enjoy the fruits of our labour, share the fruits of our labour, encourage our community to share the fruits of our collective labour. So to that extent, as I say, we've adopted and adapted the best things from cultures around the world that people have brought to this country. We have a very proud Croatian community here in Canberra who have contributed significantly to the economic well-being of the territory, but they've also contributed significantly to the cultural well-being of our society.
So tell me one bad thing about Australia. Is there any
nothing? There's nothing bad. Nothing bad.
You said it, nothing bad.
Nothing bad. Except floods in the north and fires in the south.
Čini se kako nema prave zamjerke. Socijalno izbalansirana, tržišno slobodna, s jakom radnom etikom, koja ne priječi ljudima zabavu i hedonizam, zemlja koja poštuje starije, slabije, nemoćne, koja uvažava sve kulture, zemlja sad već multietnična, gdje došljak prve generacije može postati bogat, a svoju djecu vinuti u orbitu australskog društva. Nije slučajno netko primijetio, kad smo posjećivali ovu znamenitu astrološku postaju kod Kambere, iz Australije se i nebo čini bližim.
Odosmo, Charlie.